What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with us. Thank y'all for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on to everybody? I appreciate y'all for holding us down. Thank y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. What's up to my friends? What's up to the family? What's up to everybody inside of the chat? What up, chat? What up, friends? How y'all feeling today? It is Tuesday, August 18, 2026, year of our Lord. We are in the building. We got a lot to cover. We haven't touched on what's going on inside of the culture, inside of the community in a while. And so we plan on doing that. But before I do so, let me just say I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. We did drop a video inside of the Patreon. Actually, we uploaded it yesterday, but I scheduled it for this morning because I wanted it to be the first thing that you guys experienced when you woke up this morning. So we deep dove. Is that a word? Dove? I think that's a word. We did a deep dive into on a surface level, and I'm going to deep dive a little bit more in the next video. We did a deep dive into the school to worker pipeline that basically is training y'all to think like worker bees, and it's conditioning y'all to stay in the middle class and thinking that you succeed, continuing to dangle the carrot that you can get rich, but they're not giving you the formula to get rich. And so we explored that mindset a little bit. And so if y'all want to tap into that, y'all more than welcome to. But again, that is exclusively for the bag chasers and the Patreon members. If you are not a bag chaser, then make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. You know my speech. You know my spiel. And I'm looking forward to seeing y'all in the meetup. If you are a new bag chaser, if you are a new Patreon member, make sure you guys go into the post for the Dallas meetup and let me know if you come in, if you bring in a +1, let me know what the word is, and then that way I can accommodate y'all accordingly. But what's going on, chat? What's up, Azriel? Will, I see you, William. Bitcoin Brown in the building. Azriel. DJ Ace Productions, my dog, Chris Cunningham. What up, Chris? What up, Jesse Xavier? What up, Will Nola? What up, Self-Made Forever. Self-Made Forever says, dope video, but that train was loud. That's true. That's true. You caught me in the wild. I want to do a lot more recording. I'm doing vlogging in the wild. I got new series that's going to be launching on multiple different platforms, but we're going to talk about that. Jason A-Team, Desiree A. Dunn, Keisha, Vanessa, K. Cooper, what up, though? That thumbnail is hilarious of you on the Patreon. What y'all acting like y'all, I don't do no hard work. What up, Quam? What up, Phoenix? Vito Royale. Hey, y'all wish my girl Vanessa Marcel happy birthday. Happy birthday, my love. Congratulations to you. Another year around the sun. You deserve it. Your car, my guy. Big Mike, what up, though? V. Nicole said I'm looking yummy. Yes. You know, I still, I don't think it's an age limit to what would, you know what I'm saying, to compliments. Everybody like a nice compliment. The V Nicole, that's why you my girlfriend. What's up, Mimi? Billy Ray Valentine. I'm sorry, I cheated on Billy Ray Valentine with V Nicole, so hey, V Nicole, that's my homegirl, but Billy Ray, she sent me some dope stuff in the mail. Y'all sent me some dope stuff in the mail. I'm going to have to go through it and see what's happening out in these streets. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Hopefully y'all having a great morning. Oh, you seen my post on Instagram? Let me also say this one last thing, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into the show because I'm limited in the amount of time that I have for the show today. I'm going to have to stop in at a 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time hour because I promised a local radio station that this afternoon that I would give him an interview. And so we're going to get to that. I have to take care of that. Got to meet my expectations on that, keeping my promises. But we're going to try not to derail too much so that we can get to all of the subjects, or as many subjects as we possibly can today. And so we're going to get right into that. Again, I dropped a video inside of the Patreon. Also, Room Night After Hours is tonight. And so shout out to Room 9 After Hours. And I think we just need to go ahead and get straight into the video. I do want to mention the quote of today. The quote for today is, "Our crown has already been paid for, just wear it." A lot of people take that a lot of different ways. I like to personally look at it spiritually, and that our sins have already been forgiven based off of us accepting our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ into my life. In the Black community, we call it being saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. Hallelujah. God is good. That's right. That's right. And but a lot of people look at it a lot of ways. You know, we've been blessed. You've been blessed to even be born into this country, to be born in the time that you've been born into. Embrace it. Embrace it. Jump head first into making sure that you meet all expectations. Let me see what this is. Hello? Hello? The mass is calling. I don't even know what this is. We got to stop this. AI is getting out of control. I'm doing a local talk radio station. Hold on, let me double check just to make sure. I don't want to say the wrong thing. It's a local talk radio station here in Detroit, and I think it's WWJ. Give me a second. Let me double check that for you. Mike Parsons spot, WJR Radio with Chris Alberta, and it'll be at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard is the time I'm supposed to link up with them. So a lot of people know of Mike Parsons, Chris Alberta. A lot of people are familiar with them that are locally here in Detroit. And so one of the things that I try to do is I really try to support Detroiters. I try to support Detroit content creators. First, it's the bag chasers, and I really, really try to put my support behind the city and the people that are doing great things in the city. I try not to even have a negative disposition or conversation about people inside of the city, even if I have problems. So, you know. So we're gonna get that popping. Let me go ahead and get started with the show. Let's not waste time. Let's not slow down. Let's just go ahead and get straight to it. And let's get it popping. I'm going to be reading super chats and cash apps throughout the show. I always start the cash apps and the super chats after the first introductory segment, because we always like to highlight what somebody is saying on social media before we get all the way into it. And so let's hear what she got to say.
Folks, there is a clear divide happening in our country right now. We have the ghetto, ratchet, Black Americans. You can't tell them anything. They know it all. Lack law and order. Those Black Americans. Then you have Black Americans that are just decent people trying to live and want to see a prosperous country and want to build families. And what is happening? We all get lumped into one. And why you say that? Well, because of this side, you guys make it harder for this side. And we're tired of it. We are. Yes, I'm a conservative black woman, and I don't want to associate with this side. You glorify violence. You glorify sexual promiscuity. You glorify robbing, stealing, scamming. And when we on this side say, wait, no, absolutely not. We're not down with that. We don't want anything to do with it. You come after our blackness and say that we are less than. But now when we call out your deplorable behavior, now we're trying to have proximity to whiteness? Make it make sense. Guess what? It doesn't. And as a conservative, I see all the comments. I see, oh, you're a coon, you're an Uncle Tom, you're all that. I don't know what type of response you want out of me with that. I'm just letting you know when I see the comment, I automatically say, man, the lack of intellect is astounding.
It is. I think that there is a fracturing. I think that there is a great divide. And there is somewhat of a civil war within black culture, the black community, amongst black people. I think that there's many civil wars that's happening in many different cultures. White people have it. Today we're going to focus on black people. Asian people have it in multiple different cultures. And obviously it's a lot of different types of Asians. Hispanic people are having it. They're fighting amongst themselves. I see them holding each other accountable. Mexicans are fighting against each other because some people are mad that the Mexicans that came over into the U.S. Are in support of ICE, the ones that did it the right way, because they don't believe that people that didn't do it the right way is circumventing the process. There's a big fracture, but in the black community, I think that it's more pronounced and is bigger than ever, and we're going to address that even with Stephen A. Smith today. But there is a huge conversation, not even conversation, vitriol, right? I've always believed that you'll always be hated by your own, and the way that you have to protect yourself against people that see you as a certain way is always going to be 10 times worse than anything you will experience from another race, from another culture, from another group of people. Even if other groups of people don't necessarily care for you, right? Let's say they on some like, yo, we don't rock with you, we don't mess with you, whatever, so on and so forth. They won't even say that out loud. They'll just stay away from you. They'll go out and build their own communities. They'll tell each other, just don't marry you or whatever. But black people are different. We'll really be around each other just to call each other names, just to insult each other. We'll actually take steps in disparaging, tearing people down, saying negative things about people. And I'm not just talking about people that may do negative to the black community, because on the contrary, those that do negative things to the community, they are actually celebrated. Yes, they're celebrated. If you sell dope inside of your community, you was a real one. Shout out to the people that gave the turkeys out. If you the class clown or you the person that don't graduate from high school, he's a funny guy. And he know culture. He know ball. On the flip side, if you take care of your business and you go to school, you called a lame. If you just so happen to get a college degree, but then you say you from a specific place, they're going to say, what happened to you? Are you whitewashed? If you know how to speak proper English, then it's based off of your proximity to whiteness. You had to have been raised in the suburbs. No way that you're interested in reading books. If you caught a body, yo, listen, watch out, big dog. They don't play over there. We give them the ultimate pass. I'll go a step further. The culture in the community is so deplorable that we give more credence to black men that wear wigs and say things like children are attracted to them, and we don't give no pushback whatsoever. Stay quiet on the creek. But if you are a heterosexual black man, they're going to question who you sleep with. They don't question who you sleep with when you a man sleeping with another man. They question who you sleep with if you're a black man that sleeps with somebody outside of the culture and the race. If you are a single young man and you got your whole life ahead of you and you're 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and you haven't had any children out of wedlock, and you profess out loud that you're not interested in talking to a single mother, which you have the right to do so because that is your preference, in the same way that some women choose amongst a bevy of different preferences of what they will not accept. You are against women. You hate women. If you are a black man that don't support a black woman that is in office, then you are absolutely a coon. And although we believe that we need to see representation in every part of government, if you're a Republican, oh, you definitely a sellout. You're a sellout. But if you're a Democrat, regardless of where you stand on any issue, you know what? But it's okay, though. It's cool. We have a cultural war that is beyond student loans. It is beyond rap music. It is beyond anything that we've ever seen before. And because we've become so technologically advanced in the U.S. and we become so comfortable and we're no longer in hunter-gatherer stage, now we have the time and the autonomy. Really, you don't, because we're behind the 8 ball. And for the longest, we've always had the lowest income, right? Our children are going to school and they don't have any college money. We never invested in the 529. And anytime that I mention a Trump account, they're going to give you a free $1,000. You scoff at it. Ugh. You would have took his money in 2012, 13, maybe even 14, 15, 2009. You was rocking with him. You bought his books with him and Robert Kiyosaki. The Art of the Deal. Everybody was quoting it inside of their rap lyrics and their songs. And then when he ran for president in 2016, we so sheep, we so easily manipulated, yet we say that we don't listen to white people, yet every single thing that we do, from the clothes that we wear to the communities that we seek to buy a home in, is all based off of our proximity to whiteness. And the more that you take care of your children, even though women get mad, but they still giving that box up to their baby daddy, but the more that you take care of your children, the more they're going to tease them in school and say that they Nepo babies because they not from the real hood. And if somehow, some way you don't go back to the place that you was raised in that tried to kill you and give back to people that'll still try to kill you if they catch you in the hood at the wrong place in the wrong time, you're not keeping it real. Tell me where I'm wrong and tell me where she's off at.
And I'm praying for you. I am. I'm praying for you. With that being said, I just want to let you know that our voices are getting louder.
Facts.
There is an uprising of more Black people that is tired of the toxic culture and community, and we're separating ourselves, but also we're raising generations that want nothing to do with that absolutely toxic behavior. And there's nothing you can do about it. So call us what you want, but baby, we're not going anywhere. And hey, I challenge you. Choose a side. Choose carefully. Or get left behind. What a concept.
One of the things that I've been saying for a long time to my good friend Stephen A. Smith, in which we're going to cover him extensively today. One of the things that I was saying earlier on before I actually knew him and had conversations with him and all of this other type of stuff was that the community was going to turn on him. Y'all seen it. Y'all seen me have a conversation about it. Y'all witnessing it happening in real time. I was coming out the building yesterday, out of my building, and it was a very, very maturely pretty, right? She's an older black woman, and she's incredibly successful, and she stays in the building, and I've ran into her about 3 or 4 times, and she knows who I'm talking about if she's listening to this right now. And very well put together, very business friendly. And she stopped me yesterday and she grabbed my arm and we was coming out and I was like, hey, good morning. How's it going? Or whatever. And she was like, oh my God, it's going so well. And she had a lot of pep in her step and she was on her way into her position, which is a high-end position and all of that. And she stopped me and she grabbed my arm and she said, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. She said, it's a lot of us that think just like this. She said, it's a lot of us that roll with you, that agree with you, that really, really hold you down, Anton. Then I walked over to my car and I went and got in my car and there was a guy that was obviously going up to catch public transportation, but I wasn't catching public transportation at the time. And he said, Anton from Anton Daniels. And I said, what's up, He said, man, I forgot what he said his name is. He said, we at Kronk, baby. He said, I'm one of the people that be at Kronk. I help run Kronk Gym and all of this. He said, man, we rock with you. Kronk Boxing Gym, man, we rock with you, man. We was just talking about you the other day. Man, we rock with you, man. You doing your thing, bro. We got your back. It's a lot of us. And it's growing. The black Republican conservative demographic is growing stronger than ever. And the ones that continue to run in the victim Olympics is being left behind. Hear me out and hear me clearly. The ones that are rolling in the victim Olympics, they getting left behind. They getting left behind financially. You can look. When you step outside of this Democrat plantation, when you step outside of this toxic cultural norm, and if you step outside of it for like over a year, let's just say over a year, and then you get immersed in it, like you have some kind of experience where you then become immersed in the mindset of people that think like that, you think that they look like aliens and they look like aliens to you. You look like aliens to them. Y'all don't even relate anymore. Go and take care of your family. Go and be a family man for a year and be deep down into the trenches with working and taking care of business and providing for your family and trying to do some elevated things and connecting with your person and all of that stuff and playing with your son, and then go and kick it with people that is complaining about family court laws. Specifically, not the ones that get divorced, but those that decide to have children by women that they know is going to take them to the child support court and take them for all that they got. Go and kick it with them and see what their mindset is and see if it makes sense to you, because you're going to be sitting there laughing just for the sake of laughing, just to make sure that you're not looking like the oddball. And you're going to be like, ha ha, that's crazy. But you're not going to be able to relate. I've never been able to relate of having children out of wedlock because I knew that that was a choice. Now, to the culture and the community, you know what they're going to say? Oh, you ain't never had no hoes. You ain't never had no bad chicks. Let me tell you the mindset behind having hoes, okay? Because we speak about it or we talk about it as a figure of speech. But technically, the reason why you don't talk, the reason why you don't say who you've slept with or you don't name names, especially as a man, is not only is it not what you're supposed to do as a man, you're not supposed to be a chatty patty and talking about every person that you done been with in your lifetime, but it is supposed to be a shameful deed. If you sleep with a bunch of women, right? Let's say, for example, you done had your fair share of women in your lifetime. I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about in general. Let's say you've had your fair share of women in your lifetime. For every person that I know that is spiritually connected with God, that is saved, that is at the forefront of their mind trying to make it into heaven, it's like a regretful thing, right? It's supposed to be something like, God, man, I got to get myself together. Man, I don't need to be dealing with this. This is too much drama. Man, I don't even want to be caught up in this, man. I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to make sure that I turn my life over to God. God, forgive me. I shouldn't even be in this type of situation. Give me the strength to continue to power through it. One of the reasons why you don't talk about it is because it's not something to brag about and celebrate telling the specifics of who you've been with, and it's not supposed to be a good thing. So, when you do get yourself into a situation, and I'm not just talking about women, I'm talking about in general. If and when you find yourself in a situation to where you're doing something that you probably shouldn't do, usually, if you have the right mindset, you're supposed to repent and say, you know what, man, I'm going to keep working on getting my life together. I'm going to continue to work on being a better person. I'm going to continue to work on X, Y, and Z. We talk about it because it's our life experiences, and I want you to understand the difference between the two. Because you talk about something that happens or you may have experienced it, doesn't necessarily mean that you're celebrating it. But when you start naming names and start trying to talk about it for clout purposes, that is supposed to be shameful, and it's not supposed to be something that you're embracing as a norm. But we've gotten so far away from right and wrong to where we don't even see that it's a problem that we're celebrating, listening to the music of, and championing and making y'all best friends, ladies, some of the sassiest men that I've ever seen in my entire life. Do you hear what I'm saying? We don't see that as wrong. We make our best friends the people that are filled with the very thing that God destroyed whole cities for in the Bible. And that's your best friend. That's your bestie. The worse of a person that you are, the realer that you are inside of the community. But it's a lot of people waking up. It's a lot of people waking up. It's a lot of people waking up and they saying, nah, you know what? You know what? This ain't it. This ain't it. The streets ain't it. If you can find yourself able to get a job and to get a 401k, that's what's up. I'm keeping it 100 with you, bro. I'm keeping it so real with you. Keeping it so real with you. You know why it's so hard sometimes to keep a good thing or to keep a good thing going? You know why it's so difficult sometimes for a relationship in which you're in a good relationship with a good man, or you in a good relationship with a good woman, you know why it's so difficult for you to stay 10 toes down in that, and it seems like it's work? Because if you talk to anybody, they'll tell you, right? Oh man, being in a relationship is work. Staying in a marriage is work. Would you do it again? Nah, I love what I'm in, but it's work, it's work, it's work. You know why it's work? Because it's not supposed to be. The reason why it's work is because at every single angle, the devil is using every single thing inside of the culture, and they're going to glorify it and make it seem like it's so awesome to where it's pulling at you and it's taking you away from being in this good space. And so it then becomes work because you're impacted and influenced by everything that is happening around you in the culture. So they've even programmed you to believe that it's hard being with a good person. So why is it easier being with the devil, but it's harder being with somebody that's actually in your corner and for you? Come on, man. Come on. Wake up. Let's have a conversation. Wake up. It's the Millionaire Morning Show. Why is it so easy to slip into something demonic, and it's so difficult to stay saved? Think about that for a second. To go and get an alley-oop and go and get some box and go and get some head is like, it's like a layup. It's a layup. They make it easy. They make it easier than ever. No work, no nothing you can have to put in. You can pick up the phone right now. I've already demonstrated that to y'all before. Pick up the phone right now, and they're going to be like, hey, oh yeah, come on, let's bust it down for a real one. Let's go. But for whatever reason, it's become incredibly difficult to hold it down with something that's actually good. It's because it's a war. It's a war. There's a divide. I have it right there at the bottom of the screen. There's a divide between good and evil. At some point in your life, I've already made my decision. Yep, I do struggle. Yep, I be getting boxolitis. I love the hoes. Yep, you're going to have things that continue to try to trip you up and push you around and all of this stuff. But I'm going to just tell you, I'm going to be so honest with you. At some point, even if you struggle, even if it's difficult, and I'm not even just talking about women or men or relationships and all of that. I'm talking about the decision to then provide for your child, the decision to get a legal job, the decision to turn your life over to God, the decision to distance yourself from some of the worst things in the culture and the community, the decision to not spend time around people that you know are not value adds into your life, the decision to level up, the decision to come and hang with the bag chasers and people that's going in the direction that you're going in, the decision to rock out with the person and stop telling us, ladies, that he's a good man, he just may not be good for me. Lies. Ain't no better man out there for you than the person that you already trying to walk away from. Ain't nothing out. I promise you. Listen, I promise you. I've seen so much in my 44 years on this earth. I've seen a lot. And I will tell you that there is nothing waiting for you on the other side of that door except the devil himself. And he gonna beat your face in. And you're gonna call it the journey. And he's gonna call it kicking your black behind in until you run back into your parents' home and you have less than you had before you came out here into the streets in the first place. Can't tell you how many videos I got in queue of people sending me an email wanting me to do a reaction to a woman that left. And if you go down her timeline and she says, yeah, he was a good man. He just wasn't good for me. I couldn't take living in this big old house and leaving and all of this stuff. And now they moving into their parents' house with 2 kids from 2 different people that don't add no value, and they now telling you that it ain't no good men out here. You a lie. You're a lie. You're a lie. You're a lie. But we gonna get to it today. We're gonna talk about it. And we gonna have this conversation And I plan on covering this whole Stephen A. Smith thing. I'm going to cover it extensively, probably more than anybody else has covered it to the extent to which we do. But we going to get there today. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. Again, for those of you that just joined, I did drop a video inside of the Patreon yesterday, scheduled it to go out this morning, and I'm hoping that y'all enjoying that video, even though the train might have been a little loud. You know what I'm saying? Let me read some of y'all super chats and then the Cash App, so we're going to go to the next part of the show. Eric Harris says, AD, you're right. Stephen A. needs to stop apologizing. Just Christian Black with the 10 ball. I appreciate you, Just. Shout out to you, big dog. Sharp TV in the building says, I'm a Detroit content creator and a bag chaser. And let me give a round of applause for my Detroit content creators. I might have to host a masterclass just in Detroit alone. Terrible People Podcast says, continue spitting AD this morning. It's hotter than the ish that Dylan spit. Dylan. Shout out to my dog, Terrible People Podcast. And Rosita Abtila says, this conversation is overdue. My family ostracized me during Obama, and I couldn't vote for him. You made the right decision. Stand on it. Chase Barnes says, AD and Peeps. So AD, I was out last Saturday getting breakfast. Your theory was right too. Too many alternative lifestyles. What the F? Bro, listen. When I was out the other day, I was telling somebody, I don't know if it was y'all or not, but I think I was talking about it on the platform. I'm not sure. I seen all gay women. I seen a dude try to holler at a chick when I was doing street interviews. I seen a dude try to holler at a chick when I was doing street interviews. Hold on, let me see if I can find some of it. No, this is not the one. Hold on. I'll find it for y'all. I'm going to find it for y'all in a little bit. I'm going to find it for y'all. Give me a second. I don't really know if I got time to find it today, simply because I got a limited amount of time because I got to do that interview later on today for the radio station. But it was a guy that tried to talk to a girl, and her girlfriend came up and grabbed her hand. It was a guy that tried to talk to a chick, and the girlfriend went and grabbed her hand. Chiba, what up, Chiba says, black folks took the Trump stimulus checks during the pandemic. I bet they took the Trump tax cuts to get bigger tax returns. Well, they ain't going to talk about it. They're not going to admit it. Saturday Night Beaters in the building says, people taking your lessons lightly is funny. Yeah, they're going to figure it out one way or another, though. Outlander, what up, Outlander, says the devil has been condemned. Imagine following the behaviors of someone with a death sentence. Save yourself from destruction. Shout out to you, baby girl. I appreciate you. Yeah. John Teal. What up, John Teal? I appreciate you on Cash App. Mike, that dude. What's going on, Mike, that dude? I appreciate you also. What up to my dog, Courtney Egger? Sent me that email yesterday. Okay, bet. Did you get the shirt that Mimi sent you? Says Christopher Mayberry. Let me go and check my stash. Spencer Campbell. What up, Spencer Campbell? I appreciate you. Ambush 850. What's the most important videos on the Patreon to watch first? I will go through Stock Club and start at the beginning. Probably Stock Club. And it depends on what you're looking for. If you're a content creator, is content in there for you. If you into real estate, is content in there for you. If you into real estate investing, or if you into the markets and you're trying to multiply your money, it's content in there for you. It's a lot of different stuff. It's a lot of different things that's going on inside of the Patreon. So shout out to Mike That Dude. Shout out to John Teal. Shout out to Spencer Campbell. I appreciate everybody that's holding me down. Thank you guys for continuing to hold me down on Cash App. It does not go unappreciated. All right. The second thing that I think I'm going to get into today, let me look at this, double check real quick. Patrick Bet David did a recap, which I didn't watch it yet, but I figured we can watch it together. He did a recap of what really happened with Candace Owens, and maybe he has some additional insight that we're not familiar with. And so I figured we spend 10, 15 minutes exploring it so that we can see if it's anything in addition that we missed that will possibly sway my opinion or sway my mind to think differently about what I experienced or what I seen when it came to the Candace Owens Andrew Wilson debate.
Candace Owens, Andrew Wilson debate, okay, that took place last week.
What's up, OG?
There's a bunch of things I want to go through. I want to go through the earpiece. I want to go through certain moments. I want to go through, whose minds were changed, a few different things that happened. But before I get into my side here, I kind of want to ask you guys here, Adam, Vinny, Tom. Vinny, you were there with us while we went there.
I don't really want to hear anybody else's opinion. I just want to hear Patrick Bet David's perspective.
An earpiece of things being fed to us. That.
Let me see.
100%.
What do you mean he was wearing an
Candace
earpiece?
have it too?
Are you ready?
Okay, go.
That's Candace's earpiece.
What does that mean?
They gave that earpiece to all of us.
So they had it too.
No, but wait a minute. Watch what just happened.
Yeah.
The market believes he had an earpiece of things being fed to us. That was an earpiece that Candace's producers gave. Candace gave him.
They hear everything.
gave
You guys
me.
behind the scenes.
So
Is she going to say that on air?
She would easily. I don't think she would have a problem.
Yeah.
I think she will. I don't think she has a problem with that. But that is their earpiece. Okay,
Yeah.
That is their earpiece. Again, remember, if you truly want something to be right, you're automatically going to go look for anything to say. I told you. No, that was their earpiece. It was a very professional earpiece that they handed us, which I think was actually,
What was the earpiece for?
because there is no audio for us to watch the clips.
Oh,
like
gotcha.
you see how
So
I'm
like how we're
sitting-
wearing headphones?
Yeah. So
How you're wearing an earpiece right
except
now?
They don't scream like you scream, so they keep
sorry.
a little bit lower. So they
say it
they
nicer. I'll
they
say
had
it nicer.
because my ears are blown up with you screaming today, but I had to lower the audio. No, but they put this earpiece, so when you're listening to the clips from the back, that's not somebody feeding him anything. Okay, while that's going on.
Okay.
Number two, there were 3 people in the back that they both negotiated, and Candace and Andrew. Candace is like, fact check anything. Send anything. There was no restrictions on the fact checking. That happened. Fact check anything, send the clips, do whatever you want while you're showing those clips. The other part is, like, this is the conversation I have with Ben Shapiro as well, and guys like Ben Shapiro and Andrew Wilson have to ask themselves this question. There's 2 things. There is finding people who agree with you, then there is converting. So you're going into this. Candace's live stream is hitting what? 220,000, 250,000, close to 300,000. 3.5 million people watched it on just her channel for 24 hours. On our channel, 1.5 million. This thing got hundreds of millions of views on Facebook, Instagram. This is probably a multi-billion view debate that took place. If you collect what? The TikTok clips, Vinny, if you collect Instagram, everywhere, it's a couple billion views.
Yeah.
Okay, it was trending on X for 48 hours. If your job is to convert, and you say all women are retards, you're kind of automatically,
That's
that whole
what Andrew Wilson said. You're saying.
If you watch a debate,
Yeah.
when
All
Candace
of them are
says,
retarded.
you said this about Erica Kirk, and he says, no, that's not just Erica Kirk. I believe that about all women. Okay, guess what you're not doing? You're probably not converting anybody, and you're
alienating
only
women
talking to your
hardcore.
base. So the most important data to look at wasn't who won the debate. Of course, that's important to ask on different platforms. I think on the podcast at the end, the number was 52-48. Was that what it was, 52-48?
saw, yeah.
Andrew Wilson was on the podcast. But
What do you mean 52-48?
who won the debate?
Yeah.
But on
So it's
X,
basically 50-50.
Not on X, it's 68% Candace. So you can run that poll in different places and get different results. And by the way, on X, it had 151,000 people that voted for it. So that part is taking place. But to me, when Andrew came in, he is obviously the more guy that does structured debates as he's going through it. Like, he knows how to do structured debates. And at the beginning, when I asked the question, I said, what is the percentage, 0 to 100%, that Tyler Robinson killed
like
Charlie
80%
Kirk?
or something, right?
He said 75%, and she said what? 0, right?
Well,
And-
that's where she lost me.
right. And again,
You're going to say 0%?
but that's the point.
0?
I understand, but that's her position, and she loses guys like you.
What? 0?
Adam, both.
At least say 1%.
But you know how many people that are
0%
you know how many
Tyler
people,
Robinson?
you know how many people that are part of Charlie Cook were upset that Andrew Wilson said 75%, not 100%. That's the same way that you're saying 0. Some people are like, why wouldn't he say 100%?
Sir,
You're never going to be able to please everybody, and somebody is going to be bothered by what you said, how you played it, what goes into it. Like you said, and you can't even really go by, I don't even believe any of the polls. I don't think that any of the polls even matter, because so many people were going into it, again, not liking Candace Owens and or being fans of Andrew Wilson. And then so many other people were going into it being fans of Candace Owens and not necessarily caring about this guy named Andrew Wilson. And even before the debate ever happened, when she talked about it on her platform, when he had dropped this announcement about it, people were already on their sides. They had already picked their camps. I watched it on Room 9 where Quentin was going hard in the paint for Candace Owens because that's his girl. You can't tell Quentin, Q Diddy, you can't tell him anything about Candace Owens. And as a matter of fact, when Q Diddy gets a little bit upset at one of the girls, he puts on the whole Erica Kirk meme on his screen. And so he's unable, in my opinion, to be objective about it. And I think that both of them won when it came to what they came to do. If you believe in your heart that she accepted this in order to prove anything other than she's already said on her platform prior to him coming on there, then you're a fool. If you think that he went into this, and let me give him a round of applause. Let me give Andrew Wilson a round of applause. And the reason why I want to give Andrew Wilson a round of applause is because as far as what I know, and y'all correct me inside of the chat, I don't even think he has an actual YouTube platform. I don't think that he has an actual YouTube platform. Somehow, some way, think about this for a second. Somehow, some way, he has risen to the ranks. Let me tell you why I believe that he was the real winner in the situation. I don't believe that it was a real debate, and so I can't tell you who won the debate. You can pick whatever side you want. I'm looking at the business economics, I'm looking at the visibility, and I'm looking at the bag. Is the Crucible his platform? What's the name of his platform, Eric D? I see Crash Out of Cash Out saying the Crucible. So the Crucible is his platform. All right, so let me pull up the Crucible. Just for the sake of conversation. That's why I said correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know. The Crucible, after the Candace Owens debate has 379,000 subscribers. Listen to what I'm saying, y'all. The Crucible has 379,000 subscribers. 379,000 subscribers. Now, I don't think that that's anything to sneeze at. To be able to get 380, almost 400,000 subscribers on YouTube is an accomplishment in itself. But what we not talking about is Candace Owens, regardless of whether you like her, regardless of whether you hate her. Candace Owens is top dog. I'm not sure that there is a political commentator, a person that deep dives into conspiracy theories, a person that tackles issues with regard to popular culture in the United States of America. I'm not sure that there is a person that is bigger than Candace Owens. I do know who Andrew Wilson is. I actually had watched this debate with the chick that said that his wife was a baby mama and that he married a baby mama and he wasn't a representation. I know who he is. I seen him have a conversation with, I think, Coach Greg Adams. And I did watch the debate. I told y'all that I watched the debate after it was over. But let's be clear. Respectfully, he has 379,000 subscribers, and somehow, some way, he was able to get into the room, into the home, to have a face-to-face debate with Candace Owens. Which elevated his profile, which gave him more visibility. We don't know how much he got paid because I'm sure he got a bag out of it too. And so you basically got paid to sit in the room and to debate with 3 hours and for people to debatably say that you may have won or you may have lost. And even if you lost, you may have not lost by much. But either way, you got the visibility of being able to be in a room and have a 3 to 4 hour debate with Candace Owens. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Nothing changes with Tyler Robinson at all. Nothing changes in the trial of Tyler Robinson. But everything changes with people's bank accounts, with his visibility, his potential opportunities in the future. This guy somehow, some way, was able to finesse his way into having a debate with somebody that was way up here. Y'all don't think that that's crazy? I don't think that, listen. From what I heard, he wasn't the one that paid $300,000. You think that he came out of his pocket. He came out of his pocket and he gave her $300,000. Even if he didn't make a dime from it, it's a huge promotional opportunity to get visibility. All he had to do was show up and hold his own relatively decent and not embarrass himself. All he had to do was not get into too many gotcha moments and hold his own, press her a little bit to where he made it debatable on whether he won or not. And he was a winner. He's a winner. He's a winner. He's a winner. He won. She won. He won. Patrick Bet David won. Everybody ran up a bag. Everybody got billions of views. Everybody got more visibility. And now you have a person with, correct, he had donors. So he had people that donated, that benefited, and then he got more visibility as a result of it. Let me see if there's anything else that we can grasp out of this conversation from Patrick Bet-David when it came to this whole thing.
There's a big difference between 75%, which means more than likely, and 0%, which gives you zero wiggle room.
I understand
what's going to happen when the actual trial starts, not a random debate.
Adam, what are you doing?
I'm sorry.
Then I asked Candace, I said, Candace, can anything change your mind?
Adam is kind of
She said, yes. If something happens today, I would be the first one to say it. That's good for her to say something like that, right? And then a couple other things in regards to the fingerprint. Yeah, that was an interesting back and forth. The part about her reaching out and Tulsi Gabbard's team doesn't get back to them, why don't you? Why don't you? Like, let's just say if I'm running a department in the White House and I have a big position and one of the biggest podcasters sends a message saying someone's trying to take her out, whether there's a less than 1% chance, what are the chances I'm not going to have Tom just call and just have a conversation with her? What, to tell me what if something like that happens to us, you don't think I would send somebody from our team to drop a call?
Somebody, let me answer a couple of the chat because I like to interact with the chat. Don't Panic says Joe Rogan is bigger than Candace, you dummy. Well, that's debatable, number one. But number two, Joe Rogan is not on YouTube exclusively. Joe Rogan is on Spotify, and then he does clips for YouTube. It's not the same thing. As far as being a political commentator and having a massive platform that streams on YouTube specifically, Candace Owens is top dog. Make no mistake about it. That's number one. Kev King says, anybody know what's the deal with InvestFest versus Atlanta? I'm going to cover that. I'm going to cover that shortly. I got that coming up too. So don't worry about it, big dog. We going to get there.
Hey, can you just call Candace and see if everything's okay? You don't think we would do that? We did a million different things. You don't think Tulsi Gabbard knew about that email? Just drop the call. Why don't you make the call? You know, so imagine if something did happen to Candace right afterwards, and that email is documented that was sent, and Candace is willing to give you names and stuff. You don't want to call? Whether you believe her or not, it's one of the bigger podcasters in America. I think you should.
Y'all got to stop calling me names unsolicited. Grow up. Be adults. Stop calling people names when you say stuff inside of the chat. I already give y'all the autonomy to say what y'all want to say without being censored. Stop calling names. That's not nice.
Call. They didn't make the call.
You're saying that Tulsi Gabbard
You remember that part? Remember that part?
What she brought
you
up.
just need to make that phone call. So the earpiece, BS, all the conspiracy people that wanted that thing to be right, that's Candace's earpiece team that gave it to them.
That's fair.
Let me just go through my stuff.
Somebody said I show speed is top dog. Y'all listening? Put your listening ears on. Specifically, that tackles popular culture and political subjects and also goes down rabbit holes when it comes to trying to uncover the truth for specific conspiracy theories. People that have those type of conversations that are willing to tackle, especially political subjects, she is top dog. Come on, man. Put y'all listening ears on.
Give you guys thoughts to respond.
Not talking about
the retarded comment, if you're in the business of converting, you have to understand your job is to baptize. If you're trying to get people into thinking your way and giving them this much doubt, probably not a good idea to come to the people and you wanted to convert and say you guys are retarded. It's not a good idea. The woman comment, and then what else you got? Phone. Oh, when Candace handed me the phone, that was such a weird moment. I'm like, okay, here, look at my phone.
That was so awesome.
I'm like, listen, I don't want to look at your phone. She says, no, you can look at my phone. So she answered, go look at my signal messages. And while I'm looking at this phone, in my mind, you guys know this is such a, we do this here on the podcast. When you hand me the phone, I just wanted to say, Benjamin Netanyahu, call me after the podcast. I wanted to say, you're doing great work. I just wanted, but then I said, it's not appropriate to do it right now. But when the phone was handed for me to read the text, you know, there was nothing there. There was nothing for you to see with Signal and X. And look, the level of intensity for something like this is so high when you're sitting there. Of course, tensions are going to be high. You got to give credit. Candace was cool, just stood there, did her thing. And Andrew, this is optics. This is purely optics. The leg moving like this.
Yeah, I looked at that too. That was a thing. He kept switching his legs. You could see his boots shaking a little bit, like as far as his, you know, how you wiggle your leg like you got a weird tick. His shoes was untied. I'm like, man, You about to come in here and debate Candace Owens. Why do you even have these boots on in the first place? You know me, I would have been fresh to death from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? I would have been all the way in there. But yeah, nothing else to see here. I think that Patrick Bet-David pretty much covered it. Maybe he has something else to say inside of this conversation. But I just think that they won. I think that they all won. I think that they both won. I don't think that there was a loser in this situation. And I think that everybody benefited, except for maybe some people that was watching and looking to get more out of it and was looking for some kind of bombshell breakthrough piece or something like that. I don't think that anything was ever going to come of that. Let me read a couple of super chats and then I'm going to continue on with the show. Green Blaze, Fly Eagle says, Anton, good morning. Regarding Stephen A. Smith getting a thumbs down by the NABJ was just despicable. I think it was more about these black liberals that don't like him. You're right. He needs to flip red. Oh, we going to cover it. It's coming up. I'm getting to it. B Hunter the Spot. Shout out to my dog, B Hunter. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for the super sticker, my friend. And thank you to everybody that support the platform. Again, I did drop a video on the Patreon. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Looking to do a live stream within the next couple of days, either Wednesday or Thursday. And then we going to go from there. All right. Somebody I think asked about InvestFest. Do we have that up next? Let's talk about it. Because they do Market Mondays. Earn Your Leisure does Market Mondays. I don't really cover them like that. I used to cover some of the subjects that they would tackle about, you know, real estate market and stuff like that or whatever. I haven't seen people send me too much of their information lately. But they did cover, and I like the whole setup that they got going on right now. It kind of looks like, if some of you guys actually watch some of these channels, the Bloomberg television, the one that watches or follows the Asian side of things and the business television, they kind of got that whole setup going here on Market Mondays. I think that it's an actually really dope setup and it's a dope layout. But he was addressing the whole fallout. I seen this Tesla chick. I don't know where she keep coming from. She was on Killer Mike's podcast. Maybe we'll cover that tomorrow if we have the capability or if y'all want to hear about this. This Tesla Figueroa chick, I think we covered her a couple years ago on the Breakfast Club, and she was saying some wild stuff, and then she was saying some crazy stuff on her own platform and stuff. So we'll get with that. But Earn Your Leisure has been getting a lot of blowback from black people, and that's another reason why I named this show that they'll turn on you. Not only will they turn on you, they are going to turn on you. Right? They've been getting a lot of pushback from the black community. They've been getting a lot of pushback from people in the culture. And people are not rocking with it for whatever reason. They're saying that, you know, they don't necessarily care about them. And so this was their response to it.
All right, let's get into it. It's been an eventful month.
Yes.
It's been an eventful month, from the Atlanta mayor situation to InvestFest to post-InvestFest, and here we are. So we're not going to drag this out too long, but it's important to actually we're going to break this down surgical for the audience, because it's really important for people to understand. And we're going to have a whole dialogue about this. So let's talk about InvestFest, right? InvestFest, there would be no InvestFest wouldn't be possible without Troy. He's added so much value. Without Mike, AB, Ian Dunlap, Matt Garland, 19 Keys. There's people that, if it wasn't for those people, there would be no InvestFest. Wouldn't happen, right? It wouldn't happen at all. There would never be an InvestFest if it wasn't for the people that I just named and other people as well. But for me, InvestFest is a little different because everybody has their own relationship with InvestFest. InvestFest is something that is my idea, right? So it's a little different when you come up with an idea in your head and 6 years later, it's 30,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a feeling that very few people could probably understand, right? So you carry it a little differently. And, you know, I've heard people say like, yo, Rashad's crazy. Potentially. But you gotta be crazy to think that what you think in your head, 6 years later, can be a stadium. With no outside funding, with no sponsorships, with no relationships, with no connections, with no political relationship, just the empowerment of the people and the support of everybody that's working day in and day out. So in InvestFest really a labor of love. That's what people don't really fully understand. Like we promote InvestFest for 1 year. We already planning for next year now. We promote it for a year. We work on it for a year. This is all us. We don't take outside capital. Everything you see is us. So from a financial standpoint, this is important for people to understand. It makes no sense for us to do InvestFest. It's a lost leader. The amount of money that we make from InvestFest, right? To be candid, because Market Mondays, I owe you guys a conversation because you are actually family.
Yeah.
Me personally, I made more money on one Micron call than what I made for InvestFest. 10,000 hours, by the way. All of the mental. No, but it's important for people to understand. Okay. We're not making no money on InvestFest.
I believe that. I've always tried to understand why they do InvestFest. What's the business proposition? Why are they even doing this? Because I put the numbers together when it was an event here where they were asking me to come and speak to it, and I was out of town last year, and I told them that I would do it this year because I think I was in, I don't know, one of those countries for my daughters, for one of my daughter's taekwondo tournaments or something like that. And I was speaking to one of the event organizers, and I'm like, yo, this ain't making sense. I don't understand how y'all are able to make money doing this, especially if you also have to pay, because they was willing to pay me to show up and speak here in Detroit, a different type of event. This had nothing to do with EYL. And I was trying to figure out, y'all don't even make no money from this. And it was like, well, in the future, we'll be able to do it. In the future, I'm thinking, because we'll have more sponsorships, and every year it'll get bigger and all of this other type of stuff. And so when I was starting to make it make sense for InvestFest, I was like, this really does not make sense. For you to make money at a large scale event, considering all of the marketing, all of the promotion, renting out the venue, maybe paying some speakers, getting people like Magic Johnson and Steve Harvey and all of these people to show up and speak at these events, right? The logistics, the security, the capital investment, hoping that you get a return. You got to give away tickets. You got to be able to get, help vendors. You got to do this. You got to do that, right? Police, everything. And I'm like, wait a minute, because again, I talk about this inside of the Patreon, and I call it the cost-benefit analysis. The cost-benefit analysis is if something is profitable or if something is doing halfway decent, does it still make sense for you to do it? Because if you do, a lot of times it's just based off of ego, because people that truly know how to make money can do it much easier and faster with something that may not even have that much visibility, right? So if you know how to invest and they running up a bag, it's much easier to be able to do that without all of the headache that comes along with putting together a huge event and the logistics for a potential loss leader, only for people to come back and say, man, we don't like y'all because of this, or find something wrong, because that is the curse in the community. The curse in the community is by default. They're not just going to call you out on the things that you actually do wrong. They're going to assume and call you out on things that they think that you're doing wrong. I've seen people before they even started to hear what my mans was saying, speaking, already say inside of the chat, man, all of them are scammers. How do you know that? How you figure that? I even seen some people up on a platform that was very major. I'm pretty sure Magic Johnson is not a scammer. I'm pretty sure Nick Cannon is not a scammer. They have hundreds and hundreds of speakers. How can you by default without even going? Because a lot of y'all say this and y'all don't even know the lineup. You didn't even go. Like if you're giving me some insight and you saying, Anton, well, half of the people up there were scammers because I went and I seen them speak and this is why or whatever, so on and so forth. That's one thing. But if by default you just condemning somebody because you don't necessarily like them, or you using the talking points of somebody else that's in the community that don't want to see them succeed, and I'm not even affiliated with them. I'm not even associated with them. But I'm objective enough. I mean, I'm cool with Ian. I'm objective enough to actually just say, well, wait a minute. How do you know? Because you can't just say that about somebody and try to destroy their reputation for the sake of conversation. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. Let me tell you something about people that the power of the tongue. The power of the tongue is worse than actually sometimes physically doing something to somebody. Before you kill somebody physically, you have to kill their reputation. Otherwise, you make them a martyr. Somebody says tax write-off. I know you don't know your left from your right, and maybe you read at a third grade level. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. Nobody does something for a tax write-off. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Nobody does something just because of a tax write-off. It has to be some other value add that comes along with it. Let's say I make $1 billion, right? I'll give you a simple example. Well, the tax on that is a little less than half. So let's say I have to give $400 million to the federal government. I get to keep $600 million for myself, right? Okay. Well, let's say I'm gonna do a $500 million donation for a tax write-off. I'm still being taxed on $500 million. Meaning that I have to give a little less than half over to the federal government. So now I only get to keep $300 million instead of keeping $600 million. It has to be some other tangible benefit. I'm not going to get into the tax game because this ain't the place and the time for it. When people think you just be giving away money for a tax write-off, what kind of nonsense is that? That don't even make sense. Y'all got to stop saying stuff for the sake of saying it because it's not necessarily true. All right? Let me hear the rest of what he got to say.
Because it's a narrative that, well, you guys are just doing it. It's a grift. It's a money grab. There's a lot more easier ways for us to make money. We know how to make money. There's a lot more easier ways for us to make money online or just through stock investing, stock trading, than literally doing something for a year with little to no return. This is just a fact, right? But you know who does benefit from InvestFest? The 100 speakers that's put on stage, that speak in front of people that they've never had the opportunity to, the largest crowds that they ever had in their whole entire life. 400 vendors that come to InvestFest that sell their products with no commission.
Jay Dreamer says, Anton, you're lying. Kinds are born every day for tax write-off or child tax credit and EIC. Are you listening to what you're saying? You're talking about a multi-million-dollar product and you're talking about child tax credits? Child tax credits and earned income credits. Oh my God. Lord have mercy. Bless my people, for they know not what they say. They know not what they do. They just type. They just text. They just chat. They say things out loud that they don't have any understanding of.
30 food trucks that sell their food for the whole entire weekend to 30,000 people with no commission. The hospitality, club owners, restaurant tours, the Uber drivers, the event planners, the security, the hotel staff, you name it. It's obvious that as an economic impact, it's 30,000 people. Obviously, 30,000 people didn't come from Atlanta. If you was at InvestFest, you met people from all over the world. And how they measure events is per day. So 30,000 people is really 90,000 people. That's a 90,000 person event, right? So why am I saying this? I'm saying this to say it hit a little differently when you doing all of this. You're not really making no money. It's a labor of love. You discount tickets. You give tickets away. You discount vendor booths. You give vendor booths away. And you have to hear shit for 8 weeks about how it's a scam, about how we promote scammers. The day before InvestFest, there's a post that goes viral about the top 10 scammers that spoke at InvestFest. Nobody even took the time to even research that half of that list never even stepped foot in InvestFest ever. 5 people never even came to InvestFest ever. That's on the top 10 InvestFest speaker list. Two of those people, I have no idea why is Pinky Cole a scammer? Because she didn't succeed in business. She did succeed. She had a $100 million valuation. There's ups and downs. Who did she scam? Rick Ross? So you have one person that spoke on a podcast stage, and then you have another person. I'm sorry. What Meek Mill say, lock him up if he ain't perfect. I'm sorry. We have 400 speakers throughout InvestFest history, and we had 2 people that are now in federal indictments. Is that my fault? Is that Troy's fault? Oh, we didn't properly vet. How could you properly vet somebody that did something after the fact? But you ain't talk about 398 people that we gave an opportunity to, that we helped change their life. But accountability is very important. So I'm gonna get to that, but I wanted to paint the full picture, because when you winning, a winner always feel like he losing. So to me, it don't feel like a win. People are like, yo, you just came off InvestFest. The narrative should be 30,000 people, and you're right. But it hit me a little different when I know the work that we all put in to help people.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. I'm not even gonna cap. It's very unfortunate that people talk negatively about people that are actually doing the work. Usually, let me tell you what's wrong with this culture and this society. Most of the people that are actually putting in the work are the ones being talked about, and the ones that are doing the talking, ain't doing nothing. They're riding the wave of somebody else that is forging the path ahead of them. And they're mad that they can't do it themselves. And so they talk about other people that are actually doing it. The people that are doing the work, that are building it, they're automatically, especially in the Black community, going to catch the most hell. It's just the way that it is, bro. And the ones that have the most to say are usually the ones that can't do it themselves. And so they on the sidelines hating on a regular basis. This is why there's a lot of people that prefer to be quiet about their success, and they just run up a bag. And people get mad at them a lot of times and say, oh man, you keeping the information to yourself. You're not saying nothing. You're not giving any game to the community or whatever. This is why people that have resources that can do it without the visibility say that they prefer to do it that way, because the hate is insane. The hate is insane. Somebody says all of that money and no profit, why do it? Maybe they're building a company. Maybe they have a vision for what they would want it to be one day. Maybe they are looking to be profitable. Maybe they are looking for a valuation of the company itself. And sometimes growth is not always profitable and you get chores on the back end. It's 1,000 reasons why you can do something and may not yet be profitable at that particular segment of the business. But instead of asking a question for insight, we ask it to tear down because we're not actually looking to understand. We're looking to tear somebody else down.
Black people. And to see negativity left and right on my timeline and people talking about, yo, I met this person at InvestFest and they took my website. Now we're responsible for attendees also. And to see people, and then I'm seeing people in the comments that I know personally, that we help, that we put on the show, champion shit like this, narratives like that. At InvestFest, the day before InvestFest, it bothers me on a different level. And it's human nature. You know, you got 100 people that say they love you. The one person that comes up and says that he hates you,
it stands out.
It's going to have a more vitriol response than the 100 people that tell you that they love you. But that doesn't make it right. So the accountability is this. No matter how much hate we get, I know that the love is 10 times more. And that's my fault for focusing on negativity over positivity.
Yeah, I think that sometimes it does get to people. That's how you know that social media is really impactful. But more importantly, it's hard sometimes when you have a platform to be able to defend yourself, which we'll get to that when it comes to Stephen A. Smith a little later. It's hard sometimes to be quiet, especially when you're talking about people that may or may not even be on your level. Once you listen, on your way up, it's easy to go back and forth with people and defend yourself because it could be worth it. It's worth it. When you get to a certain level, you got to pick and choose your battles because sometimes it's not even worth it, not because you're right, but because you don't even want to give more visibility to the people that's hating on you. And so you don't allow for your platform to platform people that are hating on you that can't do it, but they just looking to ride your wave. And so sometimes you just willing to take the L. Could you destroy them? Absolutely. Absolutely. You could not believe the amount of opportunities that I passed up, even having a conversation with somebody in real time. And I just bit the bullet and I said, you know what? Let's just go ahead and cut this short because I know what this is. I know they're trying to use me for visibility. They're trying to use me for clicks and views, even though the agreement that we may have had on the back end was, yo, you operate with integrity, you move this type of way, and I don't plan on having any kind of negativity in my space as far as the people that I'm having conversations with going forward, and they'll break that thinking that that's going to benefit them long term. And as a chess player, right, because a lot of people actually have handlers, a lot of people have publicists, a lot of people have strategic teams to give them insight on how to move in those certain type of situations. I don't feel like I need it. Hopefully they don't feel like they need it. As a chess player, you have to pick and choose, and you say, you know what? Should I? This is what the people want me to do. Go at them. Get the black hoodie. And insaner heads prevail, and you make the adjustment. A person that is down here that's looking to get your attention wants nothing more than for you to acknowledge them, especially using your platform to do so. Wants nothing more. So now, when you get to a certain level, you got to pick and choose your battles a little bit more carefully, because whereas you would want to get at them and go at everybody, sometimes a lot of people will say, like, how come you didn't go at this person, you know, at this particular time? And it's several different people where people have questioned me. And I've even told your car, and I've told Five, told a lot of different people, hey, don't defend me. Don't go over there. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't say nothing about it. Leave it alone. Let's focus on what we got going on. Why do I do that? Because we don't give no energy to anybody when we can pour all of that into ourselves. We don't pour energy into low-hanging fruit. We only align ourselves or have conversations when it can be beneficial to us. We don't punch down. We punch laterally or we punch up. I will say this, and then I'm going to move on to the next. I'm going to see if he got anything else left to say. I will say this, though. If you are one of the people that think that you can be loved in the community and that you can actually do stuff for people and they're going to love you for it, and you're going to pull them up, you're going to be the exception to the rule, I will tell you that there's been many have come before you and have tried to do the same thing, and all of them have failed. Every last one of them, including Jesus. Jesus came and did it knowing what the outcome was going to be and knew that they was going to crucify him for trying to do the thing that was in their best interest, and they crucified him anyway. You ain't better than him. I'm not either. And many have come in with eyes to change the community and do some positive things and to have accountability sessions and all of that. And many have left with their tail tucked between their legs, feelings hurt, saying, why ain't they responding to me? Because that's the nature of the culture and the nature of the community. You'll go in thinking that you're about to change the whole community and buy up the block. And the minute that you drop off a couple windows, they're going to steal them right out of there the same night that you drop them off. They'll break you. They will absolutely break you before they allow for you to do anything that is beneficial for you or them. They will break you every single time. Every time. See if there's anything more you got to say out of this.
So for this community, because I'm not talking to social media, I'm talking to the people that's been rocking with us from the beginning. That's Market Mondays. How it came out from the clip, very insensitive. And I know that it could be hurtful to somebody that's like, damn, I've been riding with y'all from the beginning. And how could you say this? So I understand how people could have taken that. And I really do want to say that if I hurt you in that commentary, I truly am sorry for that. Because that wasn't what it was for, and it's not who it's directed to. And like I said, that's something that I should do a better job of focusing on the love. But like I said, it hit a little different when you built it. Like, and it's like everybody's got commentary, but it's like it's a little different because we didn't raise money. So we don't take money, we make money. So everything that we put is on the line. So it's a little different when you put your own money on the line. We don't raise no money. We don't have outside investors. We ain't crowdfund for no money. I'm not knocking nobody that does that, but I'm just saying you gonna fight a little different for your shit. When it's your child. When it's your child on trial, you're gonna fight a little different for it because you know that you built that from nothing. An impossible feat. It could never happen again. It can never happen again when we had 2 cell phones and we in a basement, and 8 years later, we got 30,000 people. And we never took money, and we never had no real financing behind us, and we never had no political connect, and we never had no real sponsorship. It's a little different. So when somebody try to tear that down for no reason, it hits you a little different. And that's my frustration. And it's like, we're gonna talk about Black people because that's the nuanced conversation as well. But it hurts even more when you see Black people do it. Because it's like, you doing this, it don't gotta be said that it's for Black people. You know it's for Black people. You already know that. And that's the part that people don't, I don't never have to say Black Earn Your Leisure, Black Invest Fest. You already know what it is. You knew you had you have a safe space when you come to Invest Fest because you Black. You know you got a safe space when you watch Market Mondays. We don't gotta say it is what it is.
Got to stop focusing on the people that don't value your time, and you have to start focusing on people that actually have value to add into your life. Julian J. Brown says, if I watch this show every day and then never get a show like this, but I watch the workout video and get 1,000 workout videos, what does that mean? That means that I don't really have no competition like that, big dog. That's what it means. It means that nobody is really doing. It's only a couple different people, big content creators that's doing what I do, because most people don't have the ability to really be able to reach people in the morning, let alone hold their attention, let alone get them through work, let alone be able to stream by themselves successfully and be able to create a platform as a result of it. That's what it means. Keeping it 100 with you. Keeping it 100 with you. The reason why you're not getting a lot of similar when you watch this is because I'm the GOAT. I'm the best at what I do. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. And if you a streamer and you don't believe that you're the best at what you do, then you might as well stop streaming. Make sure you guys get a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read a couple of these super chats. D.K. Harris says, college is back in session. And over at the HBCU in my area, I've seen more young men with bonnets on than the ladies. Actually, you know what's so funny? We about to go into college right now. I'm about to tackle Penn State. We're not going to tackle HBCU. We're going to tackle Penn State. Long Way ENT says, how come the people who attended InvestFest don't have their back and letting us know how great of an event it was? The same reason that people that go into a restaurant have a good experience and don't leave a good review. Think about that for a minute. When you go into a restaurant and you have a good experience, in your mind, you expect it to have a good experience, and then you go and you eat, and you may return and go to the restaurant again, but you don't necessarily go on the review section and say anything about it. Most of the time, unless the establishment itself asks you to leave a review, most of the people that by default go in and leave a review on a restaurant is when they've only had a bad experience. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Negativity is more pronounced than anything positive that you can do, especially in the community. You know why there's so many people that come to me outside of the platform and they say, man, I love what you do. We got your back. It's because they don't want to have to deal with the nonsense that you deal with. Because it's people secretly in my family like, yo, Ton, I'm aligned with you politically. But they won't even announce it to the family because they don't feel like dealing with the headache from all of the Democrats in my family. Come on, let's wake up. Let's think about it. Negativity is more pronounced and it's better promoted and it catches more people's eyes and views. Black people are too quick to shame anybody successful. I'm watching how folks are tearing down Clarissa Shields. We are our own worst enemy. Ain't that crazy? Lamar on air. Ain't it crazy how they go on at Clarissa Shields? Yo, she is one of the most accomplished, if not the most accomplished female boxer of all time. And people can't wait to say something negative about her. That is the nature. Listen. That is the nature of the culture. It is what it is. It is the nature of the culture. Let's go over to Penn State, then we're going to get over to Stephen A. Smith. We getting to it today, ain't we? Ain't we? All right, let me stop for a second and get into the streets. I want to get y'all opinion inside of the chat. All right. Do y'all like this style better? More rapid fire, getting straight to it, breaking it down? I'm assuming that y'all enjoying this the way that we're doing it today. Let's go over to Penn State. All right. I think that this story is going to be pretty funny. It's sad, but it's funny.
Tonight, a massive drug bust at 2 fraternities near the Penn State University campus.
There was nothing junior or childlike about this type of conduct.
With 12 current and former Penn State students charged in connection with an off-campus cocaine ring, bringing in kilos of cocaine from Philadelphia and New York, and using new pledges to cut and package the drugs at off-campus frat houses.
We found a pattern of events that showed cutting and bagging cocaine was, for some pledges, an indoctrination into the Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi fraternities.
Authorities allege senior members of Delta Epsilon and Sigma Chi ran the drug operation inside their fraternities between 2023 and 2024. The alleged ringleader, Agostino Abatiello, an accounting student with a passion for numbers, according to his About Me page. Witnesses told the grand jury he was the university's largest drug dealer. One witness saying in court documents that he paid Abatiello more than $50,000 for drugs. Tonight, the Attorney General says Abatiello is still at large. Delta Epsilon telling NBC News members involved have either been expelled, suspended, or resigned. Penn State released this statement, saying it's horrified by the allegations, adding criminal activity, including hazing, has no place at our institution, noting it's cooperating with law enforcement any way they can. The defendants have yet to enter a plea. Aaron McLaughlin.
Listen. Let me show y'all what this guy looked like again. Look at his About Me page. Let me read the About Me page for you guys. They was trapping out of Penn State, moving work, and they had the pledges bagging up the coke so that they can distribute it on campus and run up a bag. Hold on. Let me read this About Me page. This was the ringleader. Hey there. I'm Agostino Abatello, an incoming senior at Penn State University. So he's a senior, all right? I want to make sure that y'all understand that because I'm not sure that this is the first time or how long he's been doing this, but he's probably been running up a bag for a long time. Studying accounting with a passion for numbers and financial storytelling. I've consistently made it to the dean's list for 3 consecutive semesters, keen on leveraging technology of the ever-evolving financial landscape, eager to contribute unique insights to the broader business world. I offer thoughtful, engaging content rooted in current trends and personal experience. Currently, I'm gaining practical experience through an accounting internship at Sid Harvey. This opportunity has deepened my understanding of real-world applications and inspired me to create this blog. Yeah, we know how you was getting your real-world experience. Here, he was, you know what kind of real-world experience he was getting? First of all, he was shaving labor costs. Secondly, he was doing it in a safer area. He wasn't trapping in the hood. He was trapping at Penn State. Super big clientele, people that got money. As soon as they get their student loan refunds or their parents' checks, at the end of the month, he was making sure that he was giving them that rich people drug. And he was cutting his labor costs by using the pledgees to bag up the coke. Here, I'll be sharing insights, accounting tips, and industry trends while fostering a supportive community for fellow accounting enthusiasts, students, and professionals. Beyond accounting, I enjoy hiking, cooking, and learning more about the financial market. Join me as we embark on this accounting adventure together. Feel free to connect and share your thoughts too. Let's learn and grow as we explore the world of numbers. Look at these guys. Look at these people. And you know what the funniest part about this is if you look at this, right, and you just look at them on the surface and you say, who's the ringleader? Who's the ringleader of this group of people right here? I will probably go all the way to the left and I will say, you know what? That's the ringleader. No way that I would go all the way to the right and pick him as the ringleader, the person that had to connect, that was running up a bag over there at Penn State and selling dope to all of the children on campus. No way. No way. And you know what's so funny about dope dealers in the white community? You never, ever, 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 ever see them. You don't know what they look like. They do not profess themselves with the visibility. And if you don't think that drugs is running rampant in the white community and on college campuses, because it ain't black people that's selling it up there, I can tell you that much. Listen. It's not black people that is moving work on these campuses. And often at times these campuses are in the middle of nowhere, or they're separated unless you're in an HBCU or you over at one of the Ivy Leagues. If you go over to Boston, right, and you go in to Harvard or something like that, those type of institutions are very much integrated into the community. You go over to an HBCU, most of the time, those are right there in the middle of the hood. Real talk. Spelman, Howard, all of those places are right there in the middle of the hood, bro. Go to DC, HBCUs, right there. Right? But you start going to some of these other college campuses, they're in the middle of nowhere. They are in the middle of nowhere. Like, it be a large campus. It don't necessarily be in a downtown area. It don't be in none of that type of stuff. And there is no real hoods for you to get your work in. Go up to Michigan State up there in East Lansing. It ain't nothing around Michigan State. I took my daughter up there and I was like, she had a taekwondo competition. And she was like, Dad, I'm not really sure if you're looking to have some kind of culture up here. Unless you just really just want to focus on your studies. And if something is not going on campus, it ain't nothing to do around here. Went up to Eastern, right here in Michigan. Same thing over in Ypsilanti. Ann Arbor, they got more of a community, but it's liberal as hell up in Ann Arbor. I spent a lot of time staying up in Ann Arbor, especially when I was working at the University of Michigan. Ann Arbor is its own community. That's its own powerhouse. Most of these campuses, they're in the middle of nowhere. You got to go outside of the campus if you're trying to get to the hood somewhere. So you have to ask yourself a question, especially for those that are out of town or staying on campus, where they getting their work from? Obviously, they getting it right here. And again, they're not visible. They're not visible. Mr. Robinson right here, a very unsuspecting individual, and you would never suspect that this guy is moving work in mass quantities at Penn State University. You're just not thinking it. They don't bring any visibility to themselves. He's probably driving a Hyundai or a BMW 3 Series, blending in with all of the rest of the crowd. They not pulling up in the Cybertruck. I even believe that those type of vehicles should be those vehicles should be only allocated for if you're doing whatever you're doing legally because it brings so much attention, or you just super filthy rich and you just got a whole collection of cars. They moving that work though.
More than studying in college, Attorney General Dave Sunday says they were trafficking cocaine across multiple states. 13 have been arrested. Police searching for one more.
And it's about to be a drought on campus. Y'all don't want to talk about that, do y'all? It's about to be a drought on campus. I served the base. The price of the brick about to go up because you know them kids is, listen, bro, them kids is fiending, starving. They trying to get they drink on. They trying to get their coke on. And coke is made a huge comeback. It's huge in the drug community right now, and that means that the price of the brick is going to come up. I wouldn't even be surprised if his competition snitched on him and got him jammed up out here in these streets.
CBS 21's Andrew Klein is in State College tonight with how this case got blown open.
It was dubbed Operation Drugs Unlimited. Today, Attorney General Dave Sunday announcing that students from Penn State brought cocaine to the school and sold it from frat houses like this one here behind me, Sigma Chi.
Between 2023 and 2024, large amounts of cocaine, kilos, were brought from Philadelphia and New York to State College.
They had the keys, bro. They had bricks. All white bricks.
Where they were cut and packaged for sale primarily to Penn State students.
14 warrants out for the arrests of current and former Penn State students and one father of a former student. The charges surrounding what Attorney General Sunday called an upper-level trafficking organization in State College.
This was a coordinated and organized cocaine trafficking operation with regular trips to those source cities and large amounts of cocaine being brought back to these fraternities.
Charging documents list Thomas Robinson as the ringleader from Delta Upsilon, with Robinson's father being arrested for his alleged attempt to conceal evidence using a safe. But Sunday pointed at Agostino Abatiello, the Sigma Chi and operations ringleader, as, quote, the largest dealer of cocaine for Penn State University students.
The evidence showed that cocaine was primarily packaged at the fraternity houses and that packaging was done by fraternity brothers and oftentimes pledges. In fact, we found a pattern of events that showed cutting and bagging cocaine was, for some pledges, an indoctrination into the Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi fraternities.
The university responding to the charges in a statement it released on its website, denouncing the actions of the students and announcing a suspension of Delta Upsilon while the Student Affairs Department investigates.
Let me say something also. This is another reason why I've always kind of looked at every single fraternity guy with a closer eye. If a guy tells me that he pledged or that he's in a fraternity, I don't care if he's a white boy, I don't care if he's a black guy, I don't care if it's a white girl or a black girl. I'm always going to look at them with a closer eye. Now, I'm not going to by default judge them and say that they are or they aren't something, but I'm going to put a little bit more of a watchful eye on them because I want to know why you pledged. So many guys was not pledging for connections. They was not pledging to be able to do community service. They wasn't pledging so that they could, be an impact and be able to network more effectively for the brotherhood. A lot of them, listen, a lot of them pledged because they were wannabes, because they wanted to be accepted. They wanted to be able to get girls. They wanted to do this, and they could not stand on their own 2 feet and do it by themselves. And so they had a follower type of mentality to where they couldn't make a decision for themselves, which made it much easier for them to be able to be manipulated and humiliated, especially at the time that I was coming up, because we didn't have social media and we had always heard about how these dudes was being humiliated and embarrassed just so they can say that they're part of an organization and then possibly be able to get some box as a result of it. Now, again, I say that I look at each individual separately because I don't think that that's the case for every person that pledged. But when I would see a guy, in most instances, especially if I knew him from somewhere like high school or something like that, and I'm like, stop, dog. You ain't gonna let another man tell you what to do on a campus, are you? Hold on, listen. You ain't gonna let another man that's around the same age as you give you direction and tell you what to do? You doing homework? And you're not getting paid? Because usually people that do people homework in college, they're getting paid. They're so smart that they're able to get something out of it. What are you getting out of this? Now, if the guy said, well, no, man, you know what? I think that they're giving me better job prospects, opportunities, networking. It's the largest organization that has influence in this particular industry that I'm trying to get in, so on and so forth. You know what? I could rock with that because I think that people do different things at different times that's beneficial for their life. But I seen too many guys getting hazed so they can try to get some box. And I said, nah, dog. Nah, dog. Whew. Mm. You stop in the yard, my dog? Again, different people do it. I said, dog, don't stop. Man, listen, you don't even like dancing like that. I remember when we was in high school, you said you wasn't even really no dancer. You just like the two-step. Now you stomp in the yard. Who told you to stomp the yard? You stomp in the yard? Don't stomp the yard, bro, against your will. Because don't stomp the yard with attitude. Don't you stomp the yard with an attitude. Don't do it. Either do it gladly and willingly or don't do it at all. But please don't be bullied into stomping the yard for some box. I promise you it's going to be box that's available for the rest of your life. And let me say this to the young brothers that's out there that is caught up in boxolitis, all right? Most men, and I want to be clear, right? If you have some form of boxolitis, and for those of you that may be new to the show, let me explain to you exactly what that means by having boxolitis. Meaning that sometimes you may make decisions that may not be in your best interest long term because you're paying attention and your short-term needs sometimes overwhelm your logic and your ability to think logically about the circumstance that you're about to partake in. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is when your boxolitis flares up, okay? Now, a flare-up with boxolitis doesn't necessarily translate either to you participating, but you just may have a flare-up, right? And that's not a bad thing. This is a normal man thing. Ladies, before I tell the fellas this advice, and then we going straight into Stephen A. Smith next. Ladies, do stop trying to villainize your man because he may have a little bit of boxolitis. He may see a chick that's bad. May not even be in person. He might see her on social media. You getting mad because he likes somebody else's pictures. He ain't never going to talk to that girl ever in his life. He may be having a slight flare-up. Some flare-ups are more severe than others. Okay? Stop tripping. It don't mean that he like you any less. It just means that he may be aware of what he sees and he's acknowledging that because he's aware that this is something that we may have to deal with long term. It's a long-term fight for the rest of your life. Now, you should be scared if he doesn't have flare-ups. Because he might be like in boy butt. He might get coxolitis. Now, that's what you don't want, okay? If he got boxolitis, let him slide. He cool. He chilling. He go to work every day. He might. Back in the day, OGs used to have the Playboys. They had Maxim. You know, they had all of the little magazines. The Black Men, they had Jet magazine. All of that type of stuff. And the women didn't even trip. Oh, that's just Papa. He just doing whatever it is. He okay. He making sure that he take care of home. No. You can't even like somebody's picture on Instagram nowadays without getting in trouble. If he get a little bit of a flare-up in boxelitis, that's not a big deal. Chill. Relax. That's not a big deal. Now, if he get coxelitis, don't let him get tonsillitis. Oh, God. This is so stupid, man. Oh, man. I love this show. Are y'all bag chasers yet? Are y'all? I'm about to do Stephen A. Smith. We're going to do three segments on Stephen A. Smith. Have y'all joined the Patreon yet? If you're not a part of the Patreon, I would love to meet y'all in Dallas. We have a good time every single meetup, and we've done tens of meetups. We've had great times, beautiful women. Everybody smell good, good energy, no problems, no issues, none of that ghetto stuff. We just have a good time. And it's open for everybody, black, white, Asian, everything like that. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. And just for good measure, I did drop a video for y'all today that y'all probably should watch. All right? Anton in dirty old man joke mode. Boxelitis is safe. All right? Coxelitis and tonsillitis is a little... Hey, it's a little bit different, so be a little bit more careful with that, all right? All right, y'all, let's get into this Stephen A. Smith conversation. Somebody says, when is a ski trip? We gonna try to plan for February, end of February, all right? More information on that coming soon. The Bag Chaser ski trip should be fun, all right? Let's get into this Stephen A. Smith conversation. And the reason that I think that it's necessary for this to get into this conversation, this is the main event of what we've been working towards. We went to EYL. We went to the war between black people and other black people that may be intelligent and those that may not be so intelligent. Had to throw in a little bit of Penn State for good measure just to make sure that we address these white boys trapping out the bando. We didn't want to forget about y'all. But this is what was said about Stephen A. Smith at the National Association of Black Journalists. Apparently, every year they have a thumbs down segment of people that they don't necessarily care for, and they decide to get messy, just like every other black organization. But this is what happened.
The board recognizes conduct that harms black journalists, weakens newsroom equity or editorial independence, reinforces damaging portrayals of black people, or compromises the public service mission of journalism. This year, we have chosen to highlight 5 recipients to reflect the breadth of harmful action. Brendan Carr, Chair of the Federal Communications Commission. Since assuming leadership at the FCC, Carr has repeatedly used the agency's regulatory authority in ways that have raised serious concerns about press freedom and editorial independence. CBS. Under its current leadership, CBS eliminated its race and culture unit and implemented newsroom workforce reductions that disproportionately affected journalists of color. The company has also faced sustained internal disputes over editorial independence and newsroom decision-making. DeJuan McCoy, owner, president, and CEO, Circle City Broadcasting, parent company of Wish TV. McCoy's leadership has been the subject of multiple allegations regarding the treatment of black journalists. Stephen A. Smith, sports analyst and political commentator. Smith has established a representation of black women in public discourse and stands in direct conflict with NABJ's long-standing commitment to accurate, responsible, and inclusive portrayals of black communities. The Washington Post implemented layoffs and newsroom restructuring that disproportionately affected black and other journalists of color.
So to everyone whose name was called tonight, hear this award for what I believe it should be. Not simply a thumbs down, but a call to do better. The door is open. The conversation is available and the opportunity to change is real. But NABJ will not be silent. Not in this moment and not on my watch.
The person that is the head of the National Association of Black Journalists, who is this woman right here, and I'll get her name for y'all very shortly just to make sure that I get it correct, told me everything that I needed to know about this award. This thumbs down award that they gave to Stephen A. Smith. Listen. The minute that Stephen A. Smith held a black woman accountable, a public figure who is also a politician, I already knew that the writing was on the wall and there was nothing that he was going to be able to do about it to get himself in good standing and back in the good graces of black women, and that the smear campaign on his name was going to be at a fever pitch. Didn't matter about what he did for other people. Didn't matter about how he held down Shannon Sharp. Didn't matter how he held down Ryan Clark. Didn't matter about what he was doing for communities. Didn't matter about the fact that he celebrated and upheld his mother and his sisters and all of his story and all of that type of stuff. I knew, right? Because I already know that it's going to be competition when it comes to different people that may or may not care about what he stands for or what he says. That's going to be the way that it is. It's going to be competition in sports. It's going to be competition in journalism. It's going to be competition when it comes to content creation, and it's going to be competition amongst men. But I have never, ever in my life, of all the things that you can hold Stephen A. Smith accountable for, depending on where you stand on the political spectrum or the sports spectrum or whatever, right? One thing is for sure, and the two things, did I not call it, Lynn? Did I not call it? I said it. I said at the time, I said, Stephen A., you shouldn't apologize because you didn't do anything wrong by having the minute that he started saying anything about Jasmine Crockett, and you had Sassy Don Lemon and Joy Reid, whose parents ain't even from the United States of America, and all of them started ganging up and going after him and having conversation, and Stephen A., as sensible as he is, was trying to explain what his position is and why he said what he said when it came to Jasmine Crockett representing herself differently than being the ghetto Jasmine that I don't mind calling her out for, right? I already knew. I said it a long time ago that he was going to become the enemy of black women. Because contrary to popular belief, you don't have to be on Fresh and Fit to be able to say it. You don't have to be Andrew Tate. The only thing that you got to do in this culture is get out of line. Don't step too close to the yellow line, or else we're going to push you over on the train and we're going to let that train try to roll over you, and then we're going to celebrate your death. Figuratively, I'm speaking. And that's why I said at the time, I said he shouldn't apologize, because what he said is what he said. And I also said that they were going to turn on him. I said it, and I said that they had an inability to be objective about some of his takes. And if everything that he says is not completely in lockstep and approved with the culture in the community, that the people were going to turn on him. Bro, you got women, literally, I ain't even got on her yet. You have women, literally, that don't watch sports. They don't watch sports. They know nothing about Stephen A. except for whatever it is that men may talk about that he may go viral about. And it wasn't even until he started to step foot in the political space, because as long as he was in the sports space, he was safe. He was safe. He was safe. Let me tell you two things that then put Stephen A. Smith on the radar of black women as far as them looking for a reason to turn against him. The first thing is, the minute that women's sports started to become a little bit more prominent and it started to become a part of the conversation. Anytime you start to have that type of conversation, women are going to get offended even though they don't watch the WNBA. The second thing is, the minute that you start having a conversation about politics and you say that you are an independent and you are not declaring your alignment to the political establishment of black women, you then make yourself a target. I have never, ever in my life heard Stephen A. Smith in any capacity irresponsibly go at women, let alone black women. That's just the honest to God, objective truth. I have never, he may have a problem with somebody specifically of what they said, and then he's going to address or deal with a talking point. He may defend himself, but realistically, if we are just going to be completely objective, I have never in my life seen or heard Stephen A. Smith disparage, go at, or disrespect black women. It's just not a thing. It's not a thing. It's not a real thing. This was an opportunity, a smear campaign. And it has long been in the standing. It's long been in the works. It's not the last one that he's probably going to experience specifically from this demographic. And you know black men, especially the weak ones, they can't wait to go lockstep in with black women so they can go on their little gossip pages, right? The conservatives can't wait for Stephen A. Smith to get in trouble because they know that it's going to be clickbait and they're not going to be objective enough. Yep, I am calling out all of the conservative people who I seen do a reaction video to this, but was unable to remain objective and just call it straight down the line. I myself say when I disagree with them, I say when I agree with them, and I give him his props when I think that he's doing great things. And that's one of the things that he respects about me is because I'm objective enough to be honest. Listen, I'm so honest that is some people that don't even rock with me anymore that used to probably rock with me. I'm not saying that they look at me or they treat me worse, but they not reaching out to me no more ever since I started actually kicking it with Stephen A. Smith. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. And I'm going to be honest with you. And I wish I could curse right now, but I understand that this is a PG-13 show. And I try not to be, the cursing bird. I genuinely don't give a F. This is why I don't care to be a part of anybody's organization at all. Don't care. Always gonna be independent. Always gonna have my own mind. Never gonna take any money from any of these organizations. Never interested in any political funds. Have never taken a dime from anybody whatsoever. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and they was talking about the guy that came and cleaned my car. Some of y'all was following me on Instagram, so you see my story. And I was having a conversation about the guy that came to clean my car. And I was telling them about it, and they was like, he offered to do your car? He offered to do it for free? And I said, I don't know. I don't even know. Probably. And they said, why you didn't let him? I said, because I always make sure I pay my way, and I pay for every service because I don't want anybody to feel like they got one up on me. I don't want anybody to feel like I owe them anything. Anything I do for somebody is going to be out of the kindness of my heart, and you don't owe me anything if I do something for you. Anytime you join these organizations, you now have an obligation to meet their expectations and standards, even if it's changing. Even if you joined it 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you have an obligation to uphold whatever new standards that they may embrace, regardless of who you are, where you stand, they don't allow for you to have a different mindset or a different opinion. You got to be lockstep in with that organization, or else they're going to turn against you, just like the National Association of Black Journalists did against Stephen A. Smith. I can't pledge my allegiance to anybody except for the bag chasers and Jesus. That's all I got. I love the people that love me. I love and I'm loyal to the people that's loyal to me. I hire out of and I hire from the bag chasers. If you're not Jesus or a bag chaser, I have no obligation to do anything to anybody for anybody. You could change tomorrow. Tomorrow, you could be a completely different person with completely different standards, and I may have to just let you go and walk away from you. Now, my pledge to you is that if I know you in real life, I'm not going to throw you under the bus, even if you throw me under the bus. And you know that it's true. And you know that that's true. Listen, let me tell you how great my integrity is and how much I stick to that. For example, there's content creators that I actually had real conversations, didn't even meet them in person, have never even met them in person, but had whole conversations, was connected through somebody who was significant in the space at the time that he was alive. And they've made tens, if not hundreds of videos about me. And I have never, ever, ever went at them, made a video about them, or started to go at them negatively, or even told the people that rock with me to go after them. You know why? Because I know them in real life. There is people that has been a part of my life as content creators, long-time standing strategies who have turned and went and did interviews and said negative things about me, and I have no ill will or feelings towards them whatsoever. I don't, because I'm a winner. Because I'm a winner. And although it may make me a little bit upset at the time, after I get done taking a nap, the only person that I got to answer to is Jesus. And the only people that I got to make sure that I support are my bag chasers. That's it. That's it. I don't throw people under the bus. I don't get into their personal business. I'm not going to sit there and show you no text messages and expose people and all of that. That's for the hoes. That's what hoes do. That's why I'm not surprised at this woman that's a National Association of Black Journalists. I'm not surprised because that's what hoes do. They use their platform and their power to get back at people. And this is how you know the National Association of Black Journalists, as it stands today, is in bad hands and is not a reflection of what professionalism is supposed to look like. Got this prestigious name, the National Association of Black Journalists, and y'all sitting here following this woman and disparaging people that is probably one of the most prominent allies that you can possibly have. You need all of the allies that you can get. You need all of the allies that you can get. You need all of the men that are in positions of power that you can get to be doing great things. And you got the nerve to be trying to go viral and to try to say something negative against somebody that has been loyal to the organization and has had nothing but respect towards women in general. And this is why men turn the way that they turn, and you have to be unapologetic about where you stand when you decide to take a position, because nobody Nobody, especially people that are a part of these type of organizations, that's a part of the go along, get along club, is going to stand with you or even look to understand you or even reach out to you to have a conversation before they start to try to put you on a Summer Jam screen. And it's funny, because you got all of these bandwagoners. You know another reason why I rock with Stephen A? Because there's so many of y'all that's against him. I'm in the anti-bullying club. Y'all think it's cool. Y'all think it's cute. I'm the anti-bully. I like to beat up on the bullies that like to beat up on people and that they try to come at people because they don't think that it's a possibility for them to be able to come back from it, or they think that it's a popular thing to do and it's just culturally acceptable for you to do it. Some of y'all don't even have your own minds. You know why I rock with him? Because there's so many other people that think it's cool to ride on the bandwagon, and while he sits there and defends other people, very few people will sit there and defend him, and let me tell you why. Because they don't want their black audience to turn against them. And so even the ones that truly rock with him, they don't really say it out loud. They say, yeah, he supported me, or yeah, he do this, or yeah, he did this for me, or yeah, he helped put me on, but he could have did a little bit more for me, or maybe he could have took a pay cut, or this and that, and so on and so forth. Snakes in the grass. Snakes. Ain't nobody, listen, I'm going to keep it 100. I don't care about what people think, and I don't care what they say. I don't see anybody holding him down. As much as he did and as much as he looked out for other people, I don't see anybody really holding him down that are public figures with huge platforms. The minute that Shannon Sharpe started going through what he was going through, the first thing that Stephen A. Smith said was, listen, I talked to my brother. I don't believe any of the stuff that they said about him. That can't be true, but I would encourage people to wait to actually see, wait for the evidence if you're going to have something to say about him, but that's not his character. And I went to the bosses and I told them that A, B, C, and D. The minute that Ryan Clark, he wasn't the only black person. He wasn't the only person. There was multiple other white people that got laid off from ESPN, but he stood up for Ryan Clark. What did Ryan Clark do? Throw him under the bus. How come he doesn't get the same support from other people that he has, that he gives to other people? I seen Jamil Hill when they was talking about, hey guys, can we start our own network or whatever? Conveniently, she mentions how you want to leave Stephen A. Smith out. Why would you want to leave out the biggest person in the sports world? Why would you want to do that? Got the #1 sports talk show and had one for the last 14 years. Why would you want to do that? Snakes. Haters. They don't go at people that don't look at them, that don't look like them. Unless you Trump, they don't go at nobody else harder than they go at Stephen A. Smith. And it's because he at the top. They all want his spot. They all want his money. They all want his opportunity. And so as a result, if he steps out of line, or he starts to think for himself, or he starts to expand his platform, and the minute that anybody says anything negative about him, or this black woman that's head of this National Association of Black Journalists has something to say about him, first thing that they're going to do, go after him. Can't wait. Don't even wait for all of the information to come out. And I'm going to just be honest with you, genuinely, honest to God on everything. And I can't be any more honest than what my experience, my personal experience is with Stephen A. Smith. Genuinely a good person that will give you the shirt off of his back and is looking to put you on in any way that he can. And if you was to ask him something tomorrow, he would do it if it was in his power. That's my experience with him personally. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turn on notifications. I'm going to read Super Chat shortly. Let's continue over into this because this is Stephen A.'s response to the whole situation.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Stephen A. I'm on vacation.
And let me say this. I have not watched this at all. I reserved watching it because I wanted to watch it in real time. So I may have to scrub through it because I know that his response was a little bit longer. I may have to scrub through it to find the parts where he's actually addressing the issues, but we gonna get there.
I've been out of the mix the last few days because I'm busy about to send my daughter to college. And while I was hanging out with her for dinner on Saturday night, I saw that the National Association for Black Journalists gave me a thumbs down award. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are expecting me to go nuclear. And the reality of the situation is I just might. But at this particular moment, that's not my inclination. I want to tell you, first off, before I say anything, I heard them loud and clear. I'm listening. I'm far from perfect. And I will always strive to do better on behalf of my community, for the journalism community, and beyond. In the days and the weeks and the years to come. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to address what was said about me with the fervor that it deserves. Because even though I heard you, even though I am listening, even though I will always strive to do better, that doesn't negate the bullshit that the NABJ did Saturday night or Friday night, whichever night it was. I believe it was Saturday night. It is BS. And I get a lot of people want to pile on and they want to jump on it because you have your own individual feelings about me. I'm here to tell y'all are entitled to that. Not the NABJ. You're not entitled to that. This is me we're talking about here. I am the same guy that brought a nationally televised show to a journalism conference, which is the NABJ, the last 2 years. Did you have anything to say about me then? Did I get a thumbs down then? First Take, a nationally televised show, which has been #1 for 14 straight years. We came to the National Association for Black Journalists in Chicago and Cleveland, back-to-back years. Of course, I got to thank ESPN for that. They're the ones that signed off on that, specifically. Now, former executive Dave Roberts. It doesn't happen without him. It doesn't happen without ESPN. But you know who else it doesn't happen without? Me. Because if I'm not willing to show up, we ain't coming. But I was there. I was there, not just to do the show. I also stood in the booth for over an hour doing the jobs fair. I also gave a speech. I also mentored and talked to, as I continue to do, young, aspiring black journalists, and I have done that religiously for decades. I started my career at the Philadelphia Inquirer. I know it's the New York Daily News as a high school reporter, but
hold on. We got to stop this for a second. You ungrateful, disrespectful, trash ass organization. And for everybody else that piled on while he's out here doing the work, inspiring people, convincing people at ESPN to allow for him to even spend money to take the show for the last 2 years to the National Association of Black Journalists. I didn't even know this information. Y'all gonna sit here and disrespect him and say that? Wow. That's crazy, bro. That is wild, bro. I'm not even sure what we talking about right now. I would be hurt. I would be hurt. I would feel disrespected. My emotions would be in the toilet for a second. Maybe I wouldn't respond emotionally because I think that you got to hold that in, sleep it off, and then make an informed decision, a chess move once you come out of this. But that's straight up disrespectful. Bro, listen. I have zero respect for the people that run these organizations. And this is why, again, I said it and I told it. I didn't know that it was going to be this disrespectful. I didn't know that they was going to throw him under the bus like this. But this is the reason why I said a long time ago that they would turn on him. They were going to turn on him. The culture hates you when you get to a certain level. It's almost like it's ingrained on our hearts to make sure that we tear down anybody that get past a certain level. You don't have to worry about white people. Black people do enough to black people to ensure that black people, A, is not going to increase themselves past 13.7% of the population, that we're going to ensure that we tear each other down. We're going to ensure that we promote baby mama culture. We're going to ensure that we continue to push all of the negative stereotypes. We're going to ensure that we continue to plant seeds through the music. We're going to ensure that all of our daughters don't have any way to go to college and be paid for. And we're going to be sure that if you in any way, shape, or form get some kind of visibility, because you better stay silent. You better be quiet. If we get any kind of visibility whatsoever, then either you going to give back to the community or you going to pay in blood. You know what's so funny? I seen people talking about Brandon Tatum and saying, well, he married a white girl. Well, so did Byron Allen. So did Don Lemon. He married a white boy. And y'all don't have nothing to say to him. Nothing to say to him. Piss me off, bro. Piss me clean the F off. That is crazy. That is absolutely insane. Kamala Harris is married to a white man, and y'all don't have anything to say to her whatsoever. And I'm not tripping about that, because I believe that you should be able to marry and have a relationship with whoever you want to have a relationship with. But it's hypocritical. The things that people are using as ammunition against some, but then they validate it with others because they remain lockstep and pretending like they have your best interest at heart while using you as fodder to continue to push themselves further up the economic ladder, and you don't get anything as a result of it. If you have a problem with Brandon Tatum, then argue against his talking point. Argue against his position. But that's not what's happening. People are trying to assassinate their family verbally and figuratively. They're not going at their talking point. They're not going at their position. I seen Brandon Tatum actually put up on platforms that's in complete opposition to where he stands on a particular view. I see Brandon Tatum Just the other day, I watched a clip of him on another person's platform that he completely disagreed with, but he respected the platform. If you don't like his position, cool. But you're going to attack his wife and his family when there's literally people that y'all support that do the same thing?
Thereafter, in 1994, I began my career at the Philadelphia Inquirer, courtesy of Sandra Long, a longtime executive for the Philadelphia Inquirer, synonymous with the NABJ, whom I first met at the job fair of the NABJ. My career started because I was at the NABJ job fair. And yet, Saturday night, I saw the president of the organization, Erin Haynes, go up on stage and give me a thumbs down.
It's not about whether you agree or disagree or they're in the same category. It's about the tactics from the community that is used to try to attack people that they don't care for, which is hypocritical. It doesn't matter if you're in politics. It don't matter if you're in sports. It don't matter if you're a activist. It doesn't matter what it is. If they don't like you, they use the same hypocritical tactics, is my point. It has nothing to do with if they're in the same category. It has everything to do with they're looking for a reason to attack you, and it's personal. It's not business. It's not on your talking point. It's not about the thing that you actually having a conversation about. It's painting a narrative to try to demonize you and demonize what you stand for. It's nothing. It has nothing to do with whether or not they are in the same category.
For disparaging black women. I received a lot of insults in my day. That might be the lowest. I'll address that in a second. But I want you all to understand the magnitude.
Agreed, Roscoe.
Of what a few board members for the NABJ elected to try and do to me. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that in the history of the NABJ, according to my research, only 4 individuals have ever received the Thumbs Down Award? Usually, it's reserved for organizations. But myself, along with founder, owner, and president and CEO of Circle City Broadcasting, Mr. DeJuan McCoy, received it this past weekend, but also Jason Blair, the former the disgraced New York Times reporter. That is the category that I have now been lumped into. I've been in this business for 33 years. I'm one of 21 African Americans in this country's history to have ever been named a general sports columnist. I have climbed the charts from an intern to a high school reporter, all the way to a columnist. I've hosted national radio shows, as I do right now on Sirius XM. I'm the executive producer and the star of the #1 sports morning show for the last 14 years. And I'm 5 weeks away from being inducted into the Broadcast and Cable Hall of Fame.
That's crazy.
Howard Cosell, Dan Rather, Edward R. Murrow, Mike Wallace, Oprah Winfrey.
And they can't wait till before you do it, they gonna remind you, to us, you still a nigga. Not to white, listen to what I'm saying. Not to white people, to us, to the community who you've helped and promoted and brought visibility and gave back to the organizations that have supported you. Remember this. The black community is like Precious's mother. The black community is like Precious' mother. Remember when, what's her name? I forgot what her name is. Monique. Monique played Precious' mother. That's what the black community is. That's Precious' mother.
Those are just a few of the names inducted into the Broadcast and Cable Hall of Fame. And this coming September 29th, I am being inducted into the Hall of Fame, officially a Hall of Famer. But I'm not a Hall of Famer for the NABJ. So you can celebrate me to get my national television show to come to your conference. You can ask me to mentor and speak to kids for years. I once spoke at the Mentor Breakfast because Robin Roberts, who's also in the Broadcast Cable Hall of Fame, by the way, was ill and battling cancer at the time, and she could not attend that morning. And they asked me to sub for her. I have all of this, but I'm getting a thumbs down award.
That's crazy.
Really?
That's crazy.
You know, my family didn't want me to do this. My friends didn't want me to do this. They actually said, let it go. You know what else they said? They said, who the hell is the NABJ? You know what my response was? It's the place to help get me started. It's the preeminent black journalism organization existing. It's the NABJ. And it's important that I recognize that. You've had your troubles in the past, financial issues, dissension amongst the ranks, people battling for their own shine, whole bunch of stuff that has been listed about the NABJ. What I care to recall is the contributions you've attempted to make as an organization to black upliftment and empowerment in this industry. A facetious question.
You can tell he hurt. He's
what
hurt.
the hell does this thumbs down award have to do with journalism? That's why I'm addressing it. Tell me what it has to do with journalism. Disparaging black women? How? I've heard people bringing up Jasmine Crockett. She was a representative in Texas, representing 766,000 people. Did I sit up there demonstratively asking, why would you curse out the president of the United States with the cameras rolling? How is that going to help you? Yes, I did. Why did I do that? Not only because she's in Texas, and I know they're a little bit different in Texas, a bit more conservative. And I didn't think that would work with her constituency down there. We also saw the issue of redistricting coming up to the forefront. And I said, you have an opportunity to be the Democratic nominee for the United States Senate, representing 31 million folks. And
I knew the minute that he had a conversation and criticized the way that she communicates and that she focuses so much on Trump instead of focusing on the value add of what her position is in Texas, I knew that they were going to come at, listen, chat, shout out to the chat, shout out to everybody that's been around for as long as they've been around and has been a part of these live streams and has witnessed me say it. I said it. I knew that it was going to happen. It was never a secret. We all understood that this was, well, maybe we all didn't understand, but I called it out. I said it. And I said, Stephen A. should be unapologetic because they are going to come after him anyway. And it's no way that he can communicate it and help people to understand what his position is, because once they put him on a Summer Jam screen, that's going to be all she wrote. And it's going to come directly from people that are closest to him. They are going to be the ones that turn against him. And he was 100% right about Jasmine Crockett, which is one of the reasons why she lost. That's why she lost in the primaries. I told Stephen A. on his platform, I said, listen, you shouldn't be apologizing to anybody because you was absolutely right about what you stood on and what you said. I told him that. I said it on the platform. He did not edit it out. He played it live. And after that, I gave him his props and I said, you should be celebrated and you need to be heralded for all of the things that you've accomplished, regardless of whether people agree or disagree with your position with this particular political spectrum. And lo and behold, on August 18th, as of the recording of this video, here we are.
That's why? Because your education. Because of the fact that you're licensed to practice law in Texas, in Arkansas, and federally. It would have been a great, great thing. I'm like, yo, weave your way through it. Don't let this guy Tellerico win. Was I wrong? But here's the bigger question. Forget that. I apologize for even asking that question. Here's the bigger question. How is that disparaging? How? Oh, Stephen A. goes after Michelle Obama. She's the one that compared First Take to a reality show. And I use that as an opportunity to say that this marvelous, wonderful woman, who's the greatest first lady in American history, who I have raised and praised and praised and praised time and time again, to the point where I said she should run for the presidency because there's no way she'd lose.
He did say
All
that.
I did was say, I don't like the fact that you said a vote for him, as in Donald Trump, would be a vote against us as women. All I said was there's a whole bunch of pro-lifers out there. There's a whole bunch of people that care about the economy or immigration or safety in the streets. They might not even be thinking about this issue. And I also reminded folks, black men revere black women. Which one is it? We're going to sit up there and talk about how we've got women raising us and how much we deify and love and adore these black women, but then all of a sudden we're going to sit up there and act like we're disparaging them? How? How? Kamala Harris. I didn't say this, and I'm still not going to violate trust. But everybody wants to bring up the fact that I sat up there and I pointed out how she didn't even make it to Iowa in 2020, which is fact. And that a Democratic primary was bypassed in order to facilitate her being a Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States of America.
Stephen A. Smith is a much, much, much more polished, nicer person than I could ever be, because I'm calling everybody out of their name. After I came and brought First Take over to the National Association of Black Journalists, oh man. Maybe I wouldn't. Not this version of me. Maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that version of me would have went scorched earth. This version of me, I'm a little bit more chill. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. I'm not even sure I would even have the gumption to address it, because I just wouldn't care as much. But I can understand why he's hurt, because of all that he's been through and all that he's done for the organization and his tie to the organization, the history that they have behind it.
Then you have it in the palm of your hands and in support of millions upon millions of people. And you go on The View and Sonny Houston asked you a softball question, which Sonny Houston acknowledged for The View, threw it right up there for you to smack it out of the park. And you passed by saying, I can't think of anything I would do differently, when it was clearly a border crisis. Last time I checked, NABJ, that ain't journalism. That ain't talking facts. Why would I bring that up? Because I've heard nothing acknowledging those kind of things that I've said. You know what else I didn't hear? I didn't hear that Kamala Harris called me and asked to meet with me privately. And we sat down for 2 hours. See, I'm telling you that because we met after I said those things. Last time I checked, that's a form of journalism. When you're actually sitting down and communicating with the source. You wouldn't know about that, would you, NABJ? I'm not doing any of this to denigrate the NABJ. I want to state for the record, NABJ right now, from what my research tells me, is in pretty good standing. Things have been going very well for them. When you look at it, I'm looking at revenue. I'm looking at that compared to expenses, net income, total assets, total liabilities. I have all the numbers here. NABJ is not doing bad. Let's take a moment to give Representative Haynes props. You see, I did my research. All your controversies, all your troubles, I have right in front of me. But those were years ago past. That's not now. And the NABJ deserves credit for that. The board, however, clearly engaging in personal attacks, does not deserve such credit. What you did to me is beneath the organization. Where are your facts? You want to bring up Serena Williams? I apologize for that. I'm on national television. I'm flippant with it, joking around with the other fellas. And I basically was saying it really wasn't about her. It really was about her husband. No disrespect, because I was simply pointing out no man wants to see his woman exerting that kind of energy, meaning being on center stage on Super Bowl Sunday for an ex. That's all I was trying to say. But I realized my presentation could have been better. I apologized for that before. I'll apologize for that now. What else you got? Me pushing back at Kerry Champion, former host of First Take? Or Jamel Hill, former colleague at ESPN? I've never said a negative word about them. I was simply saying to them, I don't deserve whatever negative commentary you're giving about me. There's a difference.
And he don't even talk about them, but they talk about him all the time.
What did I do? Where are these disparaging remarks about black women? I have 2 daughters. I have 4 older sisters. I was raised by 5 black women. I lost my mother in 2017, the most devastating loss of my life that I will never recover from.
King RJ says, so what you saying, Ty, you're not joining no organizations? Man, F these organizations, bro. I don't even care about these organizations anyway. I don't like the NAACP. I don't like none of them, bro. at all. They money grabs, they cash grabs at all. I don't care about these organizations even a little bit. Not even a little bit. They're not even for us. And I can't be controlled, bro. I'm not going to answer to anybody. I'm not going to play the game. I'm not going to be, along with whatever it is that they feel like is best for me. I'm going to do what's best for me. And I'm not going to be beholden to these organizations so that they can stab you in the back if you decide to step out and think for yourself like they doing Stephen A. Smith right now. F a organization, bro. We are the organization. We chasers.
I have 10 nieces. You know something else you don't know about me? These disparaging comments about black women, which you have no facts to fall upon.
Shout out
Did you
to
see
Jack
the new show
Beats.
that I created, The Culture Table, on my YouTube channel? Did you see it? Check it out. One's a member of the NABJ. Her name is Tori Cooper. One is my personal executive assistant that has been with me for over 21 years. The other is a lawyer by profession, the founder and the boss of HBCU Week, who was kind enough to ask me to join her as ambassador, where with my minimal contribution, she has been able to raise and generate in excess of $100 million for thousands of students to attend HBCUs. Let me get a little bit personal. I own my own YouTube channel. I have 6 black women working for me. My financial advisor is black. Her name is Stacey Robinson, a brilliant, marvelous lady, and one of my dearest friends on the planet who's watched my back for decades. My lawyer is a shareholder and partner and one of the elite lawyers in this country named Johnny Barnes at a prestigious law firm in Washington, D.C. She's a black woman. I've been surrounded by black female excellence all my life. Where are your facts? Where are they?
I agree with you, real life, PJ.
The reality of the situation is that you don't have facts. You have feelings. And this is where it gets a bit deep. What a few board members decided to do, no doubt egged on by a couple of people on the board who will remain nameless but put their names up. You can see the names there for yourself. Figure it out. Along with some others. The reality is that it was a personal hit job. That's what it was. We can sit up there and lollygag around and act like we don't know any better. It was a personal hit job.
I agree.
Which, by the way, usually doesn't faze me. I know just because you think something fazes me, just because you see me commenting on it. No, I'm in this business. I have a platform. I can comment about anything I want to, and I will continue to do so. That's not what this is. This is different. This is a journalism organization that didn't engage in journalism when it came to critiquing me. Disparaging black women is a very incendiary thing to say.
It is.
If you felt that adamant about it, President Haynes,
somebody like
how come I never got a call? How come the NABJ never reached out to me to have a conversation? And you would go on stage, Ms. Haynes, and accuse me of disparaging black women with no evidence, just your feelings. This is shameful, but it's okay. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I understand what's going on. And I must admit, the more I think about it, I actually get flattered. Folks are scared. See, I talk too much. And I don't speak glowingly enough about the Democratic Party. This is political. I am a registered independent. I am fair. I've had my YouTube show or my SiriusXM POTUS show.
I told Stephen, I said on this platform also, let me tell you what else I said. I also said this. And chat, call me out if I'm wrong. Call me out if I'm wrong, okay? The 2,300 people that's looking at this on YouTube, call me out if I'm wrong. Chat, I also said this. I said that when you dip your toe into the political landscape, it's going to be different than sports. The hate is going to be much harder. The vitriol, the disrespect, the choosing of sides. I said, listen, you're going to have to be hot or cold. You're going to either have to pick a party because as long as you say that you're independent and you try to look at it objectively from both sides, you will be hated by both. And let me tell you what is happening right now. I see Republicans, even though he platforms Democrats and Republicans, and he talks to everybody, going at him. And I see Democrats and black women going at him. And I see nobody coming to his defense to actually look at it objectively and say, well, you know what? He's actually right. He hasn't disparaged black women. And I said that it was going to be more difficult now that he has way more visibility. And the minute that he crossed over 1 million subscribers, it was going to be up and stuck for him. Tonstradamus is in the building, y'all.
Every Wednesday night, 6 to 8 p.m., Sirius XM, POTUS Radio, Channel 124. I've had that since September 17th. Here's what you may not know, NABJ, meaning the board members, because I'm not speaking about the entire NABJ. I've got a lot of friends associated with them, and a lot of them called me last night, and I got love for all of y'all. From the calls to the emails to the text messages, I know who has love for me. I'm not mad at anybody. I appreciate it all. But this is political. If I said this about a black female conservative, any of the things that I said about Jasmine Crockett, Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama,
they will roll with it. It wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a problem.
Would we be having this conversation?
Nope.
Would you have given me the thumbs down award?
Oh, man, he is hitting the nail on the head right now. If he had been saying this about a black female conservative Republican, ain't no way in the world they would have gave him a thumbs. Oh, man, he called it down. He called it. That is I didn't even think about that, honestly. He just hit the nail on the head, bro.
If I had said it about a Candace Owens, if I had said it about a Condoleezza Rice, would we be having this conversation?
Nope.
This is political. What you're not paying attention to is that I've had that POTUS show since September 17th. Ladies and gentlemen, I have had 60 guests in the political sphere, 30 Republicans and 30 Democrats. I am a registered independent who leans left socially and right fiscally. I can't stand high taxes like they exist in New York, New Jersey, and LA. But outside of that, I'm down. And the only thing that I have against the left is pretty much the socialist left. Hakeem Jeffries has been on my show. Senator Slotkin has been on my show. Swalwell was on my show before everything went awry. Representative Clyburn came in studio with me in D.C. The list goes on and on. I ask the questions people indicate they want answers to, and I leave it out there for y'all because I'm not an aficionado. I strive to be fair. And I don't believe you can call people racist and tell them they everything but the child of God, they're pieces of crap and they're this and they're that, but you got your hand out for something, whether it's money or an interview or anything like that. I think that's counterproductive. If you disagree, I respect that. How does that warrant a thumbs down from a journalist organization? What is it about my career that started at the New York Daily News, went to the Philadelphia Inquirer where I got promoted about 9 times, went to CNNSI, to Fox Sports, to ESPN and ESPN Radio, and on top of it all, now it's Sirius XM and owning my own production company and my own YouTube channel. How does any of that warrant what you did? The young aspiring journalist that's out here looking for a come up. I haven't strived to do my part. I don't continue to strive to do my part. I haven't hired people. I haven't gotten people hired. Can't save everybody. Can't hire everybody. But I haven't done anything. You will go. I am having this conversation with y'all, ladies and gentlemen, because of one thing and one thing only. I have been accused of disparaging black women. Where? Where? I can't disagree. I can't question. Oh, it's how you sound. Oh, it's your tone. Really? I was raised by 5 women, 4 older sisters that would argue with me, debate with me, coming out of the womb. And when they had enough, they slapped me upside my head, go take out the garbage, do the dishes, clean your room, get your homework done. Do what you got to do. Hell, my sisters still do it. I'm actually sneaking behind my sister Carmen's back as we speak, as I'm taping this podcast right now. You know why? Because she didn't want me to do it. Everything I am everything that I've achieved, everything that has uplifted me in my life has been associated with black women.
I see Phi Brown said that he also said, I don't have the time to continue to go through it right here. Phi Brown says that he also said that he invited her to come on his show and have a conversation, and she said that she'd rather have one in private. I feel sorry for Stephen A. Smith. Not too sorry for him because he's still rich as hell. Let's give a round of applause for getting rich regardless. I feel sorry for him over the jealousy, over the disrespect, and the betrayal by people that are around him, people that he's been associated with, and organizations that have now turned it political and tried to disparage him and looked for any small thing to try to say that he disrespected black women, which is absolutely, positively false. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Yo, we got a strong 3 hours out this joint, though. Let me give a round of applause for the chat. Let me read y'all super chats, and then we're going to get out of here for the day. Remember, room 9. Remember, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Don Dimitri is in the building, says, good morning, AG. Just here to say I'm thankful and blessed to see 31 on this beautiful day. Fam, that's what's up. Yeah, run up that bag, big dog. Happy birthday. Long Way ENT says, AD, how many shares of Apple do I need in order to have a dividend payout of $1,200 annually? How much will the shares cost me? You got to go in there and do the calculations yourself. It's simple math. You multiply it because the payouts is quarterly. If Apple pays a dividend, then that means that the payouts is quarterly. And then you basically times that times 4, the quarterly payment times 4. And then you multiply that by however many shares that you need in order to do so. Don't invest in a company based off of trying to get a dividend payment. All right. If anybody is a part of Block Club, you know that that's rule. One of my rules is that that's not how you determine whether you want to invest in a company, is if you can get a dividend payment. Although Apple is not a bad investment. Courtney Egger Show says the Courtney Egger Show is up next. Shout out to UAD for keeping it up, holding the standard, fam. Shout out to my dog, Courtney Egger, in the building. Wesley Turner says regular Walter White over here. Shout out to Wesley Turner. I appreciate you. Eric Harris says that's Bill Gates' intern. Chris Cunningham says bro was trapping. Gustavo Fring over here. Shout out to Wesley Turner. Don Dimitri says they was over there bumping OT Genesis, the Cocoa, while bagging up the product over there on Penn State. Manny Plays PC says guy in the middle for sure. The dummy that got them caught. Mr. Lot with a couple of super chats. Let me give my dog a round of applause. I didn't know that in 2026 you could major in narcos. They was running it up. They had their dad in there too. He says, I seen this movie before. Somebody traded their enrollment status for having to wear a wire. Wesley Turner says this is literally the authoritarian regime that one guy you reviewed said, and I can't unsee it. Stephen A. is now out of the black communist community. Eric Harris, what up to Eric Harris with the Fireball, says he even has a podcast with all black women. Maybe they mad he didn't choose them. DJ Secret, what up DJ Secret, says the students mimicking Tariq and Braden from Power. Moni Cole or Moan Cole says Stephen A. advocated for the National Association of Black Journalists to get their contract with Disney. Saturday Night Beater says it's more fun to hate than to honor, but it's not. Patrick Fobb says it's betrayal when black people speak against the community, but not betrayal when 100K black people were offed by other black people in the last 10 years. Shout out to the Hibernating Bear. I appreciate you, the Hibernating Bear, for supporting the platform with the super chat. Enos Luby says, AD salute, has been a minute. We still here. Shout out to Enos Luby and the Bag Chasers. The Hibernating Bear has a super chat also that says, the theme of the Democratic Party towards black people is catfish plates. And who coming to the cookout without any financial plan or professional agenda? Roscoe P says, with the same words they knight you, they gon' good night you. Shout out to Jay-Z. Jay in the building. Michael Armstrong with the 5 ball says, Howard University stabs Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp in the back when they had a trans do a promotion for the school on ESPN First Take. Mick White LA says, Anton, it's not about Stephen A. Smith denigrating black women. It's all about Stephen A. Smith denigrating the Democratic Party. It's all politics. I believe that. And the Democratic Party love using black women as a punching bag. J-Dub says it's almost scary how right you are. This is why I rock with you. We don't have to agree on everything, but you always fair. And the receipts reflect that. Stephen A. should just go full conservative at this point. Shout out to my dog, Call Me Tazzy. Call Me Tazzy in the building says, shout out to everyone. And the Bag Chasers, have a blessed day. Call Me Tazzy with the 100 ball in the building. I appreciate you, Tazzy. Thank you for supporting the platform. And Tazzy always hold me down. Tazzy is a mother effing baller out here in these streets. Shout out to my dog, Tazzy. I see you, big dog. She's 50 now, says, Anton, you are doing an absolutely phenomenal job. Always fire. But this week has been top tier. Well, let's keep it rolling then. I guess y'all did like the ESPN room. We made a smart decision to come back into the ESPN room. Key KM says, yo, AD, shout out to you and the Bag Chasers this morning, and I always look forward to the show. I live in Houston, and I'm up to par with everything to see everybody in Dallas. I'll definitely go next year. Stay blessed. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to everybody that support the platform. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the super chats. Thank y'all for the cash apps. Thank y'all for the subscriptions. And shout out to all of the new Patreon members and the Bag Chasers, all of the ones that's in the building. And I can't wait to see y'all in Dallas. Y'all are the greatest on earth. Room 9 is tonight. And after hours, baby. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.